All right, what is up, y'all? Welcome to Horizon Live. I am Oculus 410. That's a good enough sound check, so we are going to jump right into it. So, if you didn't know, we do have two bots in the front row. Usually we have a third, but in true Super fashion, I make him a seat. He doesn't show up. So, if you see Super anywhere, if he's online, send him an invite. Maybe he can get in, but Super usually is here with his live stream. Hopefully, he's in the Vidyuu night stream. If you can't get in, if you can ever, if you get kicked out of the world and you can't get back in, you can watch this live on the Vidyuu Nights channel. Make sure that you like and subscribe as well, because Vidyuu Nights, if you don't know, Lakes05 has been creating tutorials on the Vidyuu tutorials page for about a year now. I think we're at. I know early on there was probably one or two videos out there for Horizon, whether it was trying to learn how to do a respawn script or maybe figure out how to make a trigger do more than just respawn. But all of the tutorials that have been out there for at least a year now, courtesy of Lakes05, throw tons of confetti for Lakes, because he's probably the reason a lot of people out in that crowd are doing scripting now, who are building worlds that have more richness to them. And honestly, if you look around, a lot of my worlds are blue for the sake of blue shirt guy. So I think most of these assets and scripts, I think this will return, mostly because Lakes wrote a return script, and there. Looks like my kick script is on the floor, and that's because I edited it. Otherwise, it would be in perfection right where it belongs. But everything else in here is either an asset or something that was scripted by Lakes. So, got to give him a huge shout out. I designed the chair, so I take credit for all of that. I think maybe a tree, but other than that, everything else in here is because of collaboration. And I don't know if you've ever been in the room in anything or anywhere that I've been, but I always shout out the community, because without the community, these worlds are empty. Without the community, there's no collaboration. And one of the things that I shared during Facebook Connect last year was about collaboration, because without collaborators, you could build a world, but it's really just your vision. As soon as you add somebody into your world to collaborate with you, you put another perspective in there that can really drive that world into another place where you wouldn't have never imagined. So I highly recommend, if you ever get the chance, put somebody as an editor on your world. Obviously, let them know ahead of time, but get somebody in your world as an editor. Even if it's somebody like me who had zero scripting ability, had zero building talents, and I wanted to go in and just test worlds. And spoiler alert, testing worlds back then was kind of a name for me running around just breaking things. So I would basically just go in and complain that things were broken, or there was a hole in the wall or hole in the floor. And that was my way into creation. And I was really intimidated by the creation tools. I know a lot of people who may still be intimidated by the creation tools, may think that I'll never be as good as some of these other creators. And if you think like that, you'll probably never get a chance to get into the tools, and it's really a shame. So just think about just going into that create menu, click on new world, and even start with a template, because those templates, they're there for you to at least get into a comfort zone and then just kind of build off of them. And that's one way that I got started. Now, even though world testing wasn't even a thing when I started, it was some way for me to connect with other creators. And that's really the special thing about Horizon Worlds. When you get into a world with another creator, that's when you really start to build these relationships, get these friendships, and really get on another level with these cartoon avatars that a lot of people maybe just don't understand. But y'all in front of me pretty much know how it is, where you're in this space, you're with people that you connect with, that you relate to, and you find these common grounds to be able to really just connect like you would on a personal level, but in VR. So I want to talk about our guests today. So, if you haven't been here the last 2 weeks, every week we put a guest on stage, and it's a surprise. We try not to advertise who the guests are. We really want to be able to have this show open to everybody, be able to come up on stage. Plus, it gives me the opportunity, in case y'all show up real early and the guest can't get in, I can pretty much fake it and pull somebody on stage, and y'all wouldn't know. No, but seriously though, I usually do try to bring somebody on here to open up the conversation, really be able to get into some engaging talk about pretty much anything. There's really everything's on the table. That's why we put the open mic here. And throughout the entire night, make sure that you take the opportunity to walk up to the mic, ask some questions, not just of me, obviously of the guest on stage, but if you want to kind of chime in on what we're talking about, or if you want to ask a question about something different, that's why it's here. So we really want to make sure that the community, which is I owe everything that I've ever accomplished or done in here to, the community is the reason why I'm here. It's why I continue to do what I do. It's why I support every single creator. And now I'm even going above and beyond the Horizon Worlds, I guess, metaverse, and trying to support even more young creators that are out there. And most recently, somebody made an artwork in one of my group chats, and I had a photo shoot of my avatar. So I asked the woman's daughter to use my picture and recreate it in the child's art style. And so, just because of giving them an opportunity to create something with their art style and then sharing it, on all social media, this 10-year-old child feels like incredible about the fact that somebody appreciated their artwork, wanted to, commission artwork for them. And then, obviously I paid for it because I really wanted the, full circle of really supporting a young creator. These young creators are in here trying to learn, and they're trying to put their energy and their focus on something positive. And so I want to show a little bit of support to those. Now, that's kind of right off the heels of Jay's Trampoline Park, if you haven't been there. So the other day for tours, we actually had Jay's Trampoline Park, which shout out who was it? It was Capricorn and Wolfman. So they had reached out to me to feature Jay's Trampoline Park. And Jay's Trampoline Park was made by someone under 18, not going to say their age. And they just really were excited about the fact that they went into the creation tools. They were able to place some assets, make a fun world. And it actually was a great time. And we filled it up. We had 30 plus people in there. So shout out to young creators that are focusing that energy into something positive. They're doing something with their time that's constructive. They're not being disruptive. And I really want to encourage more of that. So I'm hoping to see more posts from Smile Honey Child that I can share. Super starting the Script Kids, which I'm excited to see what he does with that. And he's connecting with Smile Honey Child. And if there's anybody else that's interested in starting these programs, I'd really love to be able to spotlight those, not just here, not just on my social media, but trying to get them out there to the community group and be able to get Meta involved. So who knows, right? You can dream and see what happens. So, with that being said, my first guest that we're going to bring up to the stage, I really wanted to introduce them because not only are they an amazing person, but I was talking with them at one of the Soapstone events and one of the Well Metaverse tapings, and we were talking about ways to continue to impact the Horizon Worlds metaverse. We really want to be able to spread positivity, be able to show people that we're here to support, that we're here to listen, give people a chance to really vent and, just come out of their shell. Because a lot of people who join Horizon, if they have struggles outside of the metaverse where they have maybe social anxiety, they're introverted and they really just don't like to open up, or they're going through any kind of trauma, those are people that we really want to find, connect with, and really let them know that we're here for them. So without any further delay, let's bring up Lolly D to the stage. Please give it up. Lots of confetti, Lolly D.
Thank you, Oculus. Thank you.
Welcome,
Hi,
Lolly.
everybody.
It's
Hi.
so great to have you on here. So
Thank
it's
you.
kind of nerve-wracking. I feel like unemployed is staring through my soul because I feel like I stole you from the soapstone. Yeah, see? The rest of this interview is gonna be like this. So block me for me. Just block him for me. I don't. No, but in all seriousness, I am so grateful to have you. I know Aaron is here as well to support you. I don't know if you knew you were going to be on stage. Maybe I said something 3 or 4 times this week, but I am glad that he's here to show support. So
Ah,
welcome, Lolly. I would love for you to tell me
thank
a
you.
little bit about how you got into Horizon, and what you've been doing this whole time up until we connected.
Okay, great. First of all, thank you so much, Oculus, for inviting me here. And I'm so
For
happy
sure.
to see Aaron out there as well. What brought me to Horizon was just my actual I'm so enamored with VR. I just find it incredibly attractive. I saw the early goggles and I thought this is so cool. I just love the three-dimensional aspects of it and
Mm-hmm.
where is this going? And I always love those rides you could get on, when you go someplace and you get in one of those little rides and it's reality check there with, everything. And I love that. I love that feeling. So that's what attracted me to it in the first place. COVID, like everybody else, house, made us all kind of look around as what is there to do, and so I
Yeah.
had my eyes sit on Oculus. So as soon as my husband and I could make it in our budget to get those goggles, we did, and boy,
Oh,
we haven't looked
your
back.
eyes
We
set on
haven't
the
looked back since.
Oculus. I was
Yeah.
like, you had your eyes set on me already? I didn't even know you were in here. I'm so used to
Yeah.
people calling me Oculus that it's driving me crazy when I hear the word
Oh,
Oculus.
Oculus,
It's like
Oculus. Yes.
so when you
Yes.
did finally pick up a pair of those goggles, I love it. You what did you do? Like, did you play Beat Saber like everybody else, or did you jump right into
Of
Horizon? Or
course, everybody gets Beat Saber. We're all going to get in great shape, and boy, we're
I know,
sweating,
right?
and we're getting all those exercise videos, and then I found Horizons, and wow, what a difference. And I still do those things. We all still do those things. In fact, my husband is just totally in love with laser tag. He's been playing laser
Oh,
tag for months. That's his jam. So he loves laser tag. So for me,
shout out Waffle
Horizons
Copters.
was it. Yeah. But for me, it's all about Horizons because I'm a very social person, really social. I
Hmm.
need people in my life, and this filled a void for me. I'm self-employed. I work alone a lot. And so to have an opportunity in my own time frame to be able to connect with people in such an amazing way. I'm amazed every single day. I never get over it that I'm talking to somebody that's in Germany or Kazakhstan or wherever they are. It amazes me.
Wow.
We've got all the UK people now, and just
Hmm.
fascinating. Or even, I'll walk in and hear someone from Kentucky in the soapstone, and okay, let's talk. It's awesome. So yeah, I love all that.
Yeah, that's it's a great point. Now that we have the UK in here, I love it. If I pop into the plaza, before I used to hear screaming children, now I hear screaming British children. So it's an adjustment. It's a little bit of an adjustment.
It is. It is
Now, I did meet
definitely is.
quite a few people before we opened up to the UK, and I don't know if they're still in the audience, but some of the people that were in here, I don't know if they were on VPN or maybe they found another way around it, but there were already some people from the UK in here experiencing Horizon, and I know some of the conversations I had was about kind of staying off the radar so they didn't get kicked out. Do you know of
Yeah.
anybody that before we opened up that you not don't shout out their names, but were there any people that you knew ahead of time before we opened up to the
Yes.
UK that
Absolutely. Yeah. There was at least 3 that
it's
I knew of. So yes, they figured out a way in, and I'm glad they did because as I said, we've had amazing conversations about differences in our cultures, and, just a lot of things. It's just wonderful. Their view of our politics, which, it's different. So there's a lot of benefit to being able to talk to these people from all over the country and all over the world. It's wonderful. So
I'm excited to see more countries come in because just that culture shift. It was a slight culture shift when I first started seeing more people from the UK joining. And with starting the Los Amigos initiative, a lot of the Latin American people were in venues for the longest time. And when venues closed down, now a lot of them are waiting for their opportunity to get into Horizon. But so you're in the Stopestone quite a bit. Have you seen a shift in the culture a little bit from all of the people from the UK, or is it
sure.
kind of still the same?
Sure. No, we have seen some differences. That I love being at the Soapstone. I was so lucky to get there at the time that I did, and I asked if I could be part of the team. I'm a producer there, and Aaron
Hey,
is a great mentor. He's a great mentor. He's so positive and encourages leaders and encourages people towards the stage, as he says over and over again. And Aaron gave me the I have a little bit more courage. I can get up here. I mean, I'm stumbling a little bit now. I'm a little nervous, I'll be honest. But
doing fantastic.
he's very encouraging, and he's always got something good to say. Lessons in life that we talk about. We are, as a team, meet every week or every other week, and we have Zoom calls where we're looking at each other's real faces, and we
Oh wow.
share, what our week was like and what challenges we have in the soapstone. So it's really a wonderful place to be part of, and I'm so grateful. We have huge traffic in the soapstone. You might have noticed we've got doors. Aaron, not we, Aaron's got doors in
It's a
houses,
community. It's we,
apartments.
right, Aaron?
Yeah, I just kind of threw myself in there, but the doors are everywhere, venues and all that. So we do see a lot of people, first timers, which is really awesome
Hmm.
because they'll walk up to me and say, I've never been in Horizons. I've only been here 2 minutes. Help me, and that's fun. That's fun. So we've got fresh eyes and fresh attitudes, and that's really wonderful. But in answer to your UK question, absolutely. we see a lot of them. I'm always in there in the morning, and they're sort of on a
Mm,
different time schedule than us. They're about 8 hours ahead
yep.
of me. I'm on the West Coast. So I see a lot of them that have been there for the night and all. And it's just a whole different vibe. We've had fun playing trivia, British against the Americans, and it's super fun.
Oh
We've
wow,
enjoyed
nice.
doing that. Yeah, I like to give American history questions, to kind of give us a lay up on them a little bit. So it's fun.
Oh,
It's
that's
super
messed
fun.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's fun.
That's hilarious. No,
Yeah.
so it's funny you say in the morning you catch all of the UK guests, because when I used to play on Xbox Live, I would only be on from like midnight 2 a.m. on until 6 a.m. before work, and I was playing against a lot of people from the UK, and so I actually made a few friends through online, but it was nowhere near the kind of connections here. It was just kind of like, oh, my friend so and so, whatever their gamer tag was, is online. We'd play, and then it would be like, all right, see you later, mate, all right, cheers, and then that was it. But in here it's like, wow, hey, you're from the UK, oh cool, tell me about it. Oh well, what's going on? Oh, it's raining every day, of course it is. Oh well, what else is happening? And it's like you start to have like this real connection with people, so when they are online and they just pop in and walk through that door, it's kind of like cheers, right? It's like, hey, it's so and so. Do you have favorites
Yes.
there that you can shout out? I'd love to shout out some people, some favorites that you have coming in, and don't mention
From the
unemployed
UK?
Al, because
Oh,
he's
Trainer
not
Cal
anybody.
is
Anybody.
awesome. He's super awesome. Yeah, he's great. He's from the UK. UK James, Arcan, those are all people from the UK that hang out at
Yes.
the Soapstone. And yeah, we have a great group of people there. And it's getting stronger. Trainer Cal is probably going to create kind of a UK nighttime team. He's part of our team now, but because they're on a different schedule and because so many of them
Hmm.
are looking for something to happen during their time zone, Trainer Cal has stepped up and he's going to work on that. So all of that's good stuff for the soapstone. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I tried to do
My
a tours on Saturdays, but unfortunately, my Saturday mornings is kind of their afternoon, and it's hit or miss. So it's really great that Soapstone has people just pretty much around the clock that are there and hosting, and all these events that are going on. Like, shout out to all of y'all. I love it. Any events
Yeah,
that you really
yeah.
look forward to at the Soapstone that we could share
Oh
with the
my
team,
gosh.
or
One of my favorites, they're all great, honestly. There's something going on there almost every night, but my favorite is the musical showcase. And the great part is, and that's on Friday nights, by the way, and it's singers, musical instruments, all that stuff. But the great part for me is because I am there during the day and we have open mic and we are always encouraging people, as Aaron
hmm.
prefers us to do, to go towards that stage. We discover amazing people. And so then we hook
Wow.
them up with the nighttime show people, and voila, you're in a night show, and you get a following, and it's and the way they go, it's wonderful. One of my favorites, there's a little kid named Zach, the Tartan lad. He's a
Mm.
kid from Scotland. And this kid pops up on the stage and starts belting out Elvis Presley tunes. And we're like, wow,
What?
wow, where did that
What?
come from? He lives in Scotland. And we're like, where did that come from? And I said, your parents,
Mm.
fans of Elvis Presley? No, no, not at all. He
Oh.
just started Googling and got
Okay.
excited about
I
it.
don't know if I have
And
hits.
that's
Do
him.
I have
He's
hits?
like that.
I
It's
don't think there's
hilarious.
any.
So we see people like him and just a whole host of amazing musicians and singers. So that's my favorite, is
Wow.
the musical showcase. But we've got a lot of things going on: comedy, trivia, improv, all kinds of fun stuff. So check out the Soapstone calendar whenever you get a chance. It's a great thing for everybody.
Yeah, that Soapstone calendar is actually scrolling when you walk in. I think there's two places, maybe three, maybe 10, maybe one, somewhere in between. It's scrolling to show you all the events that are going on. Plus, there's doors when you spawn in to your right that you can check out some of like the creators that are being spotlighted, or some of the ones that have kind of supporter benefits. And you can go into a door and there's things that are unlocked in those worlds. So if you haven't had a chance to really dive deep into the Soapstone, definitely recommend it. So check it out. So aside from the soapstone, what else do you like to do? I know you said you had your own business. You've been kind of finding ways to manage through the pandemic to make these social connections. So what have you been doing as far as outside of the soapstone, and what are you working towards?
Well, I've got a few things. I have my own business. I have had my own business for many, many years.
Hmm.
my main part of my business was selling pets and pet supplies. So I was in that business for about 35 years. My life
Oh
has
wow.
taken many turns. um, but one of them included a divorce. And with that, a lot of life
Mm,
changes. So I did pick up one particular aspect of that. So what I sell now is bait, which sounds kind of funny, but that's what I do. But that's fine. And I'm not so much still building that career anymore. So what I started doing is venturing off into a little bit more volunteer work.
mm,
One of my challenges for my life has been domestic violence, and it became something that took over my life for a while. But I eventually got through all that, and there's a lot behind that. But it brought me to becoming a domestic violence advocate, and I'm very
uh-huh.
happy I did that because by helping other people, it's helped me tremendously, tremendously. So I've done volunteer work in that area. That's my real goal is to help people that suffer from abuse, to show them, or not show them necessarily, to let them know that there is a way out. And I found it, and I would be happy to share with anybody anytime. Uh, my own path, but that's one of the things I want to talk about with people is abuse, because I discovered in my journey out of it how many people are in it. I told a lot of my friends about it, only to discover that a whole lot of my friends are living in that as well. Not just females either, some males. And so it's a very awful thing. And I think it really is hard to reach people in that situation because it's so deep. It's your whole life that's affected there. So that's my focus right now is abuse, I think.
Now that's a really great thing to be sharing with people because, as I mentioned before, I invited Ali D up on stage. There's a lot of things that people come into the metaverse, and some of their thoughts are that they're still going to have these issues in Horizon. Your reluctance to jump into a crowd and talk because maybe you just have this fear of people maybe not accepting you, or maybe even worse where you have trouble connecting with there's all different kinds of triggers that really affect people. And one thing I mentioned on Meta Talks this week was about someone who I met at the plaza, and they had been in Horizon for 3 weeks, just hanging off in the distance. And I just saw them kind of hanging out in the corner, and so I welcomed them into the circle, and I said, "Just come on over. You don't have to unmute. Just feel free to talk whenever you're ready." And in a matter of minutes, they unmuted, said hello, and they told me they had a world that they had built. And so from there, kind of went and visited the world and gave tons of great affirmations. And they opened up to me and said, "I've been in Horizon for 3 weeks, and you're the first person to say hello to me." And I was just thinking about it, and that's been with me since I met them, about how many people go through that. And that's just somebody with social anxiety, and they just have an uncomfortability with opening up. Now, we're talking about people who are going through domestic violence and any kind of violence and really not sure where to find help. One thing that I would like to share with everybody here, because these conversations, they don't happen enough, and they really do need to really come out somewhere. And that's part of why Lolly D's here to talk about her future endeavor. But I myself, early on in my life, had an abusive relationship. And when you're in that space, you don't know how to get out of it, and it doesn't make you feel like anything other than you're weak or you're trapped. And tell me about some of your thoughts or experiences, or anything you want to share about it. But I really just at least wanted to put that out there for other people to feel open and have the ability to just share if they've gone through it as well. And hopefully you're out of that situation, but if you're not, this is kind of why we're here, because we really want to open up these conversations so you can find help and you can find a way out of it. But please,
Well, I
Lolly, share any
I think I
information there.
think what happens to us is that you look at your life and you think, oh, and like in my particular case, not only was I married to this person, we had children, we had a business together, we had a house together. That's a lot. That's a lot to be all tangled up in the idea that you're going to walk away from that,
Hmm.
plus your livelihood is in jeopardy, not just losing your house and everything else. And you think there's no way I can't do it. I can't do it. But let me tell you one of the steps that I took. I did seek out counseling, and there are ways to
Mm-hmm.
get counseling without having to pay people lots of money. There are support groups, there are online groups, there are people willing to help. I mean, so many people involved in this problem. But the one thing that I did learn early on was talk, 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 which I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a problem. But talk to your friends, talk to people, get perspectives, because what my counselor told me was that you have normal reaction to an abnormal situation, and the more your friends
Yep.
reaffirm that back to you, that oh my gosh, that is not normal, that is not right, you are not wrong, because you're being gaslit at the same time. It's so complex, but you have to be able to get that affirmation back that you're not crazy, that you're not the problem, and
Yeah.
that's the starting point. It gives you strength, but there are so many resources out there, and so that's my goal, is to share those resources, let people know that listen, I hear you, I'm here with you, and I'm a perfect example. I am now so happily married to an amazing, amazing man. And let me tell you, this man who's sitting right over there, by the way, Ricky,
Oh, in
um,
the
yeah,
crowd.
that's
What
my
up?
husband right there. Yeah, that
Hey, showing
man,
that support.
and
Hell yeah.
I will shout him out, told me early on that I'm going to tell you exactly the opposite of what you've heard all these years. I'm going to tell you how pretty you are, how smart you are, how capable you are. And you know, he does every day. And that affirmation is what really makes a difference. So thank you, Rick, really. But I'm going to get emotional, but I'm
Can
telling
we
you,
can we
having
just
people.
bring him to the stage just for support? I mean, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Can we bring you to the stage? I'm gonna bring you up. I'm gonna bring you up. But
Oh, thank you.
yeah. Let me. Wow, I'm literally like scrolling through trying to find your name, and you're not in because
He's
like
right
I
there.
said, I edited Lakes' script. Maybe if I grab it again. Oh, there you were. So before I bring you to the stage while I stall, one thing I wanted to ask, and you don't have to throw your hands up, and if you don't feel comfortable, but anybody else here who had been a victim of any kind of domestic abuse or abusive relationship? I mean, if you feel comfortable, if not, okay. But I think that it's a really hard thing not just to admit, but it's really hard to go through it and then later be able to talk about it because you really are gaslit throughout the entire thing and you start to feel like you are crazy. But if you're not familiar with what gaslighting is, it's basically being told something different than what you're thinking in order to change your way of thinking to more or less lose that power of yourself. You really are now believing the things that that person is saying to you because of the way that they're treating you, and you start to think that you deserve it. um
Yes.
and it's impossible, this was 20 years ago for me, but back then there was no support, for men. I don't want to be, sexist or talk about anything that's, one-sided or unfair, because I don't believe that that is relevant now, but back then it was really hard to find help because people just kind of laugh it off.
Oh, how did I get over
Oh,
here?
she's, there you go. Helped you out on
Oh, you're
stage.
so
Go ahead and
tall.
click those sticks in so
Well, let
you
me
can
sit down
you can
again.
level out. There you go.
The-
I think he fell out of his chair.
All right.
Oh my
For my
goodness.
next
Just
trick.
push in both your sticks. Push in both your sticks and you'll
All
level
right.
out.
Let me get
there
back
you
on my
are.
All
chair.
right.
There
There
we
you
are.
are.
He's
All right.
riding the horse.
Flip it
But just to
around here.
wrap up that thought, it really was difficult for for you to regain that power and that thought that you are worth something and that you don't deserve being treated like that, and it kind of carries on through more relationships
Come
beyond
back
that.
here.
So Rick, I appreciate you being on stage. I don't know if you want to say anything. If you do, by all means. But Lolly D here, how amazing is Lolly D and what she's done?
She's been absolutely amazing. And I can hear her talking to the people, and it's always trying to help them out. She gets a lot of kids in there. I've worn out my joysticks with laser tag, and so it won't stop. I got to turn them.
Oh, look over
But
your
anyway,
shoulder and open your Oculus menu, and you'll
there
stop
we go.
drifting. Just look over your shoulder and
There we
open
go.
your Oculus menu. There you go.
I like that.
Boom.
Okay. All right, that's
There you
better.
go.
Anyway, I hear her, coaching, counseling, calming them down, and then putting her foot down, and if they're being disruptive. And I, for a while, I was wondering, why are you doing this? I mean, it was quite a bit, but I hear the response, and then pretty soon these people are coming up talking to her, and she's helping them to find things that would interest them, engaging in conversation. So I'm really proud of her and what she's doing there.
It's
Thank you.
awesome. And it's great to have a support system because even if you're not, if you're no longer going through a lot of what you've been through, having a support system while your things are going great is even, more reassuring to be able to continue these amazing things. Tell me about where you're taking this now as far as the
Uh,
effort you've spent in the coaching and calming and like he said.
Well, well, I think what my next step is, I wanted to, and before I go on,
ah,
I want to make a shout out to Make a Wish Mom over here. You know, she was
Make
one
a
of my
wish.
mentors too. Yeah, she was one of the
right.
people I met when I first came here, and she's got a great world called Girls on Fire. And
Yes.
I spent a lot of time in there talking to her, and thank you so much for the time you spent with me. Always supportive, told me she'd meet me there. I mean, seriously, she was great. And by the way, I wish Phoenix VR were here because she's another one. She's definitely a very supportive person. I never even met her. I contacted her and I said, "Hey, I know this sounds weird, but I'm new to Oculus. Could you meet me in your world? And I would like to talk to you about it because she also has a domestic violence world, which is so
Mm-hmm.
good that when I thought about building one, I looked at hers and said, it's been done. It's no point. So I would check out Phoenix VR's, I think VR4, her
Yep.
worlds too, because she's got some really really great worlds. But now I forgot your question, Oculus. What did you just ask me?
I was just more or less saying the next steps from here, and I'm appreciative that you
Oh,
shout out Make
okay.
a Wish Mom and Phoenix VR
Yeah,
because they've been
yeah.
doing a lot of support in Horizon, not specific support for people who are going through any kind of like domestic violence. I know Women in Horizon did a thing for a women's summit, and there were worlds that were support worlds, and one of those was Phoenix's support world. And there's a lot of worlds that I believe you can only get to through that hub for the very reason of they want it to be a support place. They didn't want it to be kind of a public world for people to go to and, not feel safe. Because that's another struggle is finding a place that you feel safe. And Make a Wish Mom with Girls on Fire. That's the number one reason why I put Girls on Fire in World Tours. It was a really safe space for people to go. And there were people there that who understand you're looking for help, very very understanding and willing to listen. And I love that there's the quiet space you can go to and you can really have a one-on-one conversation. So there's a lot of things that world provides for people. So it's important to know that there are safe spaces out there. But the question was about just your next steps and what you're doing in the metaverse here.
Okay. Well, I had considered a lot of things, first being a domestic violence world. And then I thought, no, no, that's already been done. So then I thought, well, how about a meeting place? But then I realized
Hmm.
if it were me and I was at the beginning of my journey out of my abusive relationship, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't join a group. That's just me. I wouldn't have done it. So I thought, this environment is perfect. It lets people sit in the audience and listen, or it lets them come up and say something if they'd like, or they can be up here and talk. So I decided the talk show environment is the best way to handle what I want to talk about. So I do have a talk show starting next month, which is going to be called Let's Talk About It with Lolly. So that's what it's going to be. We will cover a lot of this abuse. I really want to showcase all of the resources that are out there for people that I've been
Hmm.
so lucky to have. I want to be here for anybody who wants to know my story or wants to share theirs with me. I really feel like the way out of anything like this is talking, talking, talking. We connect.
Hmm.
We feel that support and that love for each other. So I encourage everybody in here, whether you come and be part of this group with me, which I'm so excited about, or you just remember when you're out there in the metaverse that every avatar is a person. And just because they're not talking or because they're kind of introverted or I don't know, they seem kind of cranky, maybe don't judge them on that. Maybe give it a minute and make an effort to get to know people because it's so hard to know what's behind that avatar. It really is. And so many people just want to feel connected. And once you do that and you open up your heart to everybody, it's just magic. I have amazing friends in here. I'm so grateful for so many, and so that's where we're
Yeah,
at.
I
That's what I'm
really
going
want
to
to
do.
stress the fact of Let's Talk About It is such an amazing name for the world and for your show, because when we have conversations in VR, I mean, I know a lot of people are kind of connecting over the world that they're in, or maybe just talking about what's going on in the real world. And a lot of the times, topics like domestic violence, domestic abuse, or even any kind of other violence or
Right.
abuse,
Yeah.
it doesn't really come up because it's not something that you kind of just spill out, most people aren't comfortable talking about a lot of things that are happening in their personal life. And that's one of the biggest proponents that I am for is mental health, and being able to recognize when you need to take a break, when you need to just step away. I had an issue in December when I was trying to launch Club One, and I was obsessed. I was literally in day and night. The second I clocked in to work is when I would stop. I would clock out of work and go right back into my headset until 2, 3 in the morning, and just the cycle over and over and over again. And it took my wife sitting down with me at dinner with friends. I was on my phone and I'm not in VR and I'm talking about VR, and it was just nonstop. And I sit the phone down and I look up and she says, "When does it stop?" And I was just like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, it never ends. You're always in or talking about VR. When does it stop?" And it hit me straight to my core. Like, I didn't even think about how my entire balance of work in VR and my personal life just had completely fallen apart. And just that one sentence was enough for me to take a break for a week from here. And then sharing that message with, when I see people going through that same thing of just being addicted to being in here and addicted to building, just that one sentence is all it takes, is just saying, you should probably take a break, just take a day off, and just recharge. And when people do it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel refreshed, I feel so, you know so much better." And now I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to go and socialize. I'm going to go take a break and then come back in. Have you had any people that you have kind of recognized kind of going through anything similar like that in here, whether it's just being addicted to world building or in here every day and you kind of
Oh,
just needing
oh
to
my gosh, so
support
many
them?
people, including me. I mean, you do get addicted to it. You find yourself, whatever drew you in here, if you dive into it, it's like, I can't even explain it. It envelops you. My husband and I have talked about this. He'll say, maybe you should take a break because I get emotionally attached, to people's
Hmm.
problems and things. But what I have learned is, you come in here and whatever it is you set out to do, if you can focus on that when you're in here, it's easy to kind of get drug into the negativity sometimes. People
Yeah.
complaining, well, this isn't going well, or I don't like that decision that this person made. Aaron knows what we go through at the soapstone. We have infighting sometimes when people are not happy with the way one person handled it, or another. But we do talk about it, and I have recommended to many people to go ahead and take a day off, take a few days off. And I do that on the weekends. I don't spend every weekend in here. I spend it with my family in evenings too. So we kind of have boundaries when it comes to our VR. We have done that, but the time I do have, I scheduled it out for the mornings for me, and I have goals. And if I can meet my goals, I walk away super happy every day. And one of my goals is, did I take somebody that maybe was shy in the corner and bring them in? Did I make them feel good? One of my favorite stories, I just got to tell it. It was a 16-year-old boy, and he was very shy,
Hmm.
and he had all kinds of things going on in his own family, right? Parents are going through divorce, very unhappy kid. Anyway, we sort of became friends, and we hung around and talked and talked. Well, I found out he could play the guitar. So he played the guitar for me in the fire pit at the soapstone. And then I did what Aaron asked, encourage them towards the stage. Well, you know what? That kid hopped up on the stage. The next time I came, he's up on the stage. And now he's not just playing guitar, now he's singing. And then I see him in a piece of Hawaii singing. And now,
That's
and now he
amazing.
comes into me, hey, what's up, Lolly? And I'm like, wow, look at you. You're all getting around, and, he feels great now. And now he's honestly not even in Horizons much. He's busy with real life now, which is awesome. So things happen like that in here. It's wonderful. It's totally wonderful.
I love to hear about the support that you're giving people, not just because they're at the soapstone, but the support one on one to people. Because that's another misconception that people have. They think that you're hosting your world and you're kind of just trying to keep people there or trying to get them to like your world and participate in whatever's going on. But I love when people are in worlds and they're supporting people because they're just people. And these young kids, 16 is still young, and to be able to have somebody that they have no idea who they are, where they're from, and get some support to make them feel better about themselves, and then have the courage to get on stage, like that's just incredible. I can't
Yeah.
speak enough to how amazing that is, and so grateful that people like you are doing that. So,
Yeah, and
um,
it's not just me. I want to make that really clear. It was me being supportive of him, but other people too. And that's
mhm,
that's what a lot of great people in here. You know how many times I've heard people say, I'll help you build, like Mayhem at the Soapstone. He said to me flat out, "You want me to come to your world? I'll help you. We can build some stuff." And I'm like,
mhm,
"Well, I don't want that because I need to read myself. I know that I can do this myself because let's face it, the complex builds are not easy, but you can do a whole asset build. You can just sit there and pull assets down. And I made a whole little
yep,
cave with all kinds of crazy stuff just with assets. So it's possible to do a lot yourself. But I will say the builders in here and the scripters in here are amazing. They're sweet and kind and will just show up and help you. So I thank all of those people too. There's lots of them in here.
yeah.
So don't be
I
afraid to ask for help. My goodness.
Yeah, I'd love to segue that into my favorite part of with Horizon Live is look around the room at everyone here. And I really love to say this because when I look out into that crowd, there are amazing creators and amazing community members that I have seen in these worlds just giving help, giving support, offering to be able to teach and to help others learn that are new to Horizon, welcome them into groups. I mean, seriously, the people that are in this room right now, and I want to shout out a few of them. And it doesn't mean that if I don't shout you out, you're not amazing either. But seriously, like Burden of Proof, I think since day one, I knew when I met Burden of Proof, before Ask Your Q, Speak Your Truth, something was coming from him. And he's taken that show to another level with the guests that he's had on there, the conversations, the connections after the show's over, the people that have connected and gone right into build mode or connected offline, and taking it to another level with collaboration or just hanging out and making these friendships. So shout out to Burden, loving that.
All
Tape 2
right.
PC, I love the support that you give in the community group and to my post. Thank you so much. I would love to connect with you, but I wanted to shout you out. Silent Bob, I don't know if you have anything you want to say. If you want to come up to the mic, please feel free. If not, no worries. Um, but I mean, all these people in this room, Make a Wish Mom's already been shouted out for her incredible world, and I mean, I've just been like looking over this entire crowd, and I'm just like blown away at the people that not only come here and show up for me, but for the people on stage and really engaging in conversation.
Let's not
Oh,
forget
Unemployed
Sado
Al,
here.
I didn't see you.
Oh yeah, him
Hey,
too.
no,
And
Oh, you meant
Sado.
Sado. Sorry, over his shoulder,
Yes,
Sado.
yes,
Sorry, excuse
yes. I
me,
mean,
Sado
he
Mora.
yes, yes. He took
yeah.
me out of the soapstone one day just, and said, "Hey, let's do a photo shoot."
Oh,
So I'm like, "All right." So
don't
we
let
went
Aaron
off
know.
to
Shh.
no, Aaron
Aaron doesn't know about
actually
that.
said to go, and I'm like, "Okay." He said, "I know this guy. He's safe." I'm like, "Okay." So we went off to an apartment, and he took a bunch of pictures, and then he did that one shot
I'm
comics
dying to see those.
magic.
I'm
Oh
so
yeah,
sorry.
sorry. Did I not tell you about that? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
Anyway,
He's
um,
totally
he
safe. He
took
took me to his apartment and took a bunch of pictures, and I'm like, wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, what? Time out, time
yeah,
out.
and then he did all his magic, the comic, the one shot
Oh my
comic. So
Jesus.
that is some great
The
stuff right
Photoshop.
there. And yeah,
We
and I
definitely
was
need
so
to elaborate a
excited to
little
be.
bit about this story.
Yeah,
So
you
Sado
should have
Mora is
him
an
talk.
amazing artist.
He is.
Yeah,
He is.
yeah. Everybody here is
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, what's the story now? No, but Sado Mora,
Yeah.
he's taken these
Yeah.
pictures in Horizon and turned them into incredible artist comics, and I mean, we could talk for days about Sado.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
But really
great.
want to
So
shout out everybody. So, Lolly, your show, let's
yes,
talk
sir.
about it next month. So, is there anything else you're doing? Because I hear there may be something else that's happening in the Soapstone soon, maybe.
Well, if you're talking about are we talking about the talk shows in the soapstone, or are we talking about something else? What are we
I don't
talking
know. I
about,
thought you
Aaron?
were doing something in the mornings.
I am, but let me explain. Because Aaron and I, things move so quickly in the metaverse. They move so
Mm-hmm.
quickly. So Aaron and I had talked about doing a Good Morning Soapstone show because everybody comes to the Soapstone first thing in the morning. We all gather there. I'm on there at 5:30 a.m. and there's already 20 people in the Soapstone, and we're all just
Oh,
hanging
I'm
out like
aware.
coffee time. So
I
we
love
came
it.
up with this great idea to do Good Morning Soapstone, right? And so Aaron was completely supportive of it. He had created a nice talk show set for us. We'd had our first
Nice.
test. And after doing that first test, we had some conversations and decided that, you know what? Let's not just make this a Good Morning Soapstone. Let's open up this stage for everybody because there are some budding talk show hosts out there, right? I was lucky enough to kind of get a feel for things and see that, maybe I can do this. Well, you know what? There's a lot of other people that can do this too. And they have some very storied, wonderful lives, and they've got wonderful experiences to share. So now we've changed it to sort of part of the open mic. And if someone wants to come up and do an interview or have a fun, mock talk show, they can do that in the Soapstone. So y'all are welcome to come and do that. You just got to work with one of the producers to coordinate. But hey, it's
Yep.
available for everybody. But as far as I'm concerned in the Soapstone, I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to get up on the stage and interview people and find funny people and showcase them just like I always have because that's my home over there. I love the Soapstone. It's a great place and I
Shout out.
encourage everybody to come there. I don't know anybody that hasn't made at
Hey,
least
Bird.
one friend in the Soapstone. It's a wonderful place. So, yeah,
It's true. And
it
that's why I
is.
keep a door in all of my worlds to the soapstone. I know it's fairly easy accessible, but I want people to see when there's a crowd there. I want people to know that it's a welcoming place, and I support. Um, so we don't do polder removes here, so feel free to let me manage the crowd if there's issues. So please, if you could, if it's about muting, read the signs. This is a live taping, so please be mindful. Otherwise, hop into a party chat. So anyway, one last thing I want to ask you, and then I want to bring up our special guest for the evening. So as far as the Good Morning Soapstone, I'm not sure if that was public information yet, or I'm sorry if I ruined the surprise, but just our best friends on the Vidyuu Nights channel and the people in this room will keep that as a secret until it's live, right? Everybody's sworn to secrecy. Appreciate it. But as far as your, let's talk about it. I'm really excited to hear about that. I'm excited to hear about Good Morning Soapstone and that you're going to continue to do all of the things that you've been doing in the Soapstone. I just want to congratulate you on all your success on since our first time meeting. Just seeing all of these things continue, these opportunities growing. So I'm hoping that I get to visit your first taping or your first Good Morning or your Let's Talk About It. So for everybody else in the audience, make sure you take a look on the community group. Make sure you're following. Do you have a page yet on social media for Lolly D?
No, no.
Oh, we
I
need to
need
get
to
you
get
one.
somebody
Who
more
has a page out
technical to
here
help
for their
me.
avatar? Who's got their avatars? Yes, yes,
I have
yes,
one,
yes,
but I don't
yes,
even know how to
yes, yes.
manage it. Yeah, I've got to learn how to do that.
So
Haven't done it yet.
connect with somebody. Maybe one
Yeah,
of us will be able to help you with that. Maybe
I
somebody
appreciate
with some
that.
clean comedy time on their hand, they might be able to help with that. Um, so once we get her a page, please make sure you like, follow, and then we'll make sure we share all the things you're doing. So anything else you want to share with them since they can't
Yes,
find
I have
you?
one more
I don't want them
question.
stalking you
One
in the
more
real world.
question. How many people do this in real life now? Admit it. You're all doing it. You're all doing this, right? And going like this at your family parties.
Oh, my thumbs ups. My
Anyway,
thumbs up,
aren't we
everybody.
doing that? We're all doing that. Anyway, that's it. Oh, I do want to say to my
Fantastic.
daughter, this is my daughter here, Mara, 1981. That's my daughter. And she
Oh,
came out tonight
hello.
just to support me. She's a very, very busy executive, but thank you so much for being here.
Oh,
I know it's hard for you on a Sunday night. So thank you, sweetheart.
that is awesome.
Can
It's great to see
can
the
I
Yeah.
say
support.
something
I
real
mean,
quick?
you've
Cool way to
obviously been showing
support your
support
mom.
everybody in
That's
here.
awesome.
It's great to see support
Very
from
cool.
family, from spouse. So everybody else, please give a lot of confetti for not just Lolly D, but of course Rick, the support system. I don't know if any of you out there are married or in relationships, but no matter what it is that you're doing, if you're in a relationship, it's both. They have to be able to support you and what you're doing, give you that energy whenever you feel down and when you feel like it's like time to give up or things aren't going well. So when you have a good support system, it's not just about that person supporting you and you feeling good about yourself, but it's recognizing that support system because they're helping you get through these times. So shout out to Rick. Appreciate everything you're doing. And Lolly, of
Thank you,
course, shout out
sweetheart.
to you.
And one thing, I think Make a Wish Mom had a comment.
Sorry.
I had a
Oh, I
question.
sent Rick
Sorry.
out.
Oh, that's
Can you
okay.
hear me?
Sorry.
Make
I
a
can
wish. Come on up to
barely
the
hear
mic
you.
because we can't hear
I
you.
can barely hear you.
And the mic is
Okay.
open before we send her away as well. So up to the mic, line up. Feel free to ask questions.
Um,
Sorry.
your talk
Sorry.
show, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic, and because
Thank
you're
you.
basing, hopefully, your most of your subjects might be on domestic violence. The fact that I've lost a 2-year old and I know grief. I would love to be a
Mhm.
part of your show, because I do believe I could help people that have lost. I mean, again, losing a 2-year old is a lot different than losing a parent, but loss is loss. So I would love to be able to be a part, and work with you. And hopefully we could work together and I could help maybe with talking about a different subject that I might be able to help other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. We're going to talk about
Love
things.
to
And
support her.
yes, Make a Wish Mom, definitely. You are an amazing story in your own self. We've shared some of those things, and I think it's absolutely important that happens. So thank you for volunteering for that. We need
I
that.
got you.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes, ma'am. We do. We do. Okay.
Thank you so much. We'll make a wish, Mom. Rory, did you have a question? Feel free or a comment. Please step on up. And anybody else before we send her back off to the audience.
Yeah, just a comment. And first to you, Oculus, thank you very much for hosting something regularly. I appreciate you're doing this live show every Sunday night. I
Appreciate
really
that.
do appreciate it. Yeah, and just know that you're going to be here and you're going to get quality conversation and quality guests. So big shout
That
out to
means a
you.
lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then Lali D, so I am an attorney and I was a prosecutor for almost 13 years. And some of the information I just wanted to reiterate because, of course, I've dealt with difficult cases, and I also have had clients that have experienced some very difficult relationships. But just for anyone who's listening, um, when you're in that difficult situation, you really just feel trapped. And you had started to
Hmm.
talk about it, and if you know somebody in a situation like that, you really just have to get them to see that there is actually a way out, that it doesn't have to be that way. And that's usually the first step because you just feel like you have no control and you literally are trapped and there's no way out. And once an individual believes that, okay, well, maybe there is a way, then that's usually the first step, and then things can advance quickly. But I know you had spoken about that a little bit, and I wish you the best with your show. I mean, you have a great personality. You're clearly
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you,
I'm
Rory.
sure you're going to be a success. But I just wanted to reiterate, and it's so funny that we're doing this in Horizon Worlds, but um, what she had said earlier. If you are in a difficult relationship, and I mean really abusive, and there's some issues, there is a way out, and just find somebody to talk to, and that's usually the first step, and it's also the hardest step. So anyway, I don't want to monopolize the mic. I just wanted to give some comments and wish you both the best.
Thank you, Rory. We really
Rory, thank
appreciate
you
that.
so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much. Yeah, and that's the thing, so many people support it. So many people are on our side and see it, and they really, really want us to get out of those situations. They really do. So keep that in mind. You've got a whole world of people out there just willing to embrace you and waiting to do so. So don't forget that. It's the truth.
And I really want to thank Rory like solidly for saying that, because sometimes just hearing it once is like, okay, all right, whatever. Hearing it from people saying they've been through it and they got through it, and it's kind of like, well, that's kind of encouraging. But when you hear it from all different aspects, someone who's been through it, someone who's going through it, someone who got out of it, someone who's helping more people get out of those situations from a legal standpoint, seeing all of these circumstances and seeing firsthand that there's ways out. If you're going through it, I don't know if anyone out here is, please feel free to reach out to us, reach out to Lolly, reach out to myself. My inbox is always open. And, if there's anything that we can do to help, please just reach out and say hello. That's all it takes. And something I shared earlier this week, this thing that I used to do when I was younger, because I was very anxious about talking to adults and just doing something because I was scared of the reaction. I would literally in my head count to 10. Literally just count to 10 in your head and promise yourself you're just going to do it. So open up that message, type it out, count to 10, and when you count and you hit 10, just hit send. That's all it takes is just forcing yourself, just put something in your head, count to 10, doesn't matter what it is. Just promise yourself by the end of whatever you're doing, you're going to do it. And that's the first step. And somebody will be more than happy to jump in and show
Yes,
support. So, Lolly,
absolutely. Absolutely.
seriously, thank you so much. Double high five to
Thank
you.
you,
Double
Oculus.
high
Thank you
five
so
to
much for
Rick
giving me
for
this
your amazing
opportunity. And thank you
support.
guys for listening. Thank
Lolly,
you so
thank you
much.
so
Thank
much.
you. Okay,
Amazingly,
throw me
your
out.
name is next on the card. So everybody confetti for Lolly before I throw her off the
Thank you
stage
guys.
back into
Thank
the
you so
audience.
much. Thank you.
There she goes. Amazing. I don't know if y'all knew when you joined the world or not that it was going to be an opening talk about domestic violence, domestic abuse, and any kind of other abuse, but it really means a lot that you have still stayed in the audience to hang out, to listen, to hear Lolly and everything she has to say, and then continue to just show support. So you're all amazing, and I'm so grateful for you. I really do want to bring our next guest up on the stage, and we kind of segued a little bit into talking about this person. But I really wanted to kind of drive home something that's been going on this week, and that's the importance of art in Horizon. And I don't know if you're aware, but everything built in Horizon is basically art. You are putting shapes together to make sculptures, or putting together a painting that's made out of these shapes using the different color palettes. The amazing ways that people are taking art out of Horizon and creating new art and creating comics and just all of the inspiring ways that you could just continue to share this passion for the creativity. And it's not just an art shown through artistry of the sculpting and the painting, but there's musicians, there's singers, there's so many talented ways to express art. And I want to bring one of them up on stage. So please, y'all, welcome up to the stage, SadoMorrah. Go ahead and unmute. Go ahead and grab a spot on the couch. I don't know if y'all know Sado. If you do or you don't, throw some confetti right now.
Hey,
Sado, welcome to
how's
the
it going?
stage. It's so great to
Thanks
have
for
you up
having me.
here. I mean,
Yeah,
I
this
can't
is
thank you
crazy. This
enough
is
for
really
making the
good.
time.
Like,
Yeah,
no,
you
thank you.
you
I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
have you been to the
Got the
show before?
sign, got the light.
This sign was built in pre-dynamic light stage, so everything up here is like before we even had like tools and code blocks. But if you notice, I got that little sweep of the spotlight. That was new. I added
Yeah,
because of dynamic lighting.
that looks so
So
good.
shout out to the devs and all the hard work of people who are testing out these tools. But so great to
Yeah,
have you here, man.
yeah,
I
great to
wasn't
be here.
sure if you were going to join, but I'm so grateful that you're here. I really want to hear about your experience when you first got to Horizon. That's been like my number one question to people who have been on the stage, because a lot of people can relate to their first experience, whether it was good or bad. Mine unfortunately was just lost and not knowing where to go or where to find people. But how about you? When did you join, and what was your experience when you first got here?
I got in like January. I think I bought
Oh,
it
okay.
for Christmas, and I was just like, let me try it. And I got in here, and it's kind of weird because we're talking to 3D people, and I lost my train of thought. And I didn't know what I wanted my avatar to look like, of course. So I was still trying to find my look, and eventually I just settled on the white hair, purple eyes. It's my trademark. Um,
That's cool.
yeah, and the building is what really attracted me because I was in school before COVID hit, and then the school switched to online classes, and that just didn't make sense to me. So I stopped. But I was practicing, on the computer, building environments like this. And getting in here, it was different because, you're actually doing it physically. You're pulling, you're stretching, you're lifting, you're putting this thing over there. And it was just killer on my arms. But I
Yeah, the
stuck
build
with it.
tools make it really easy to build. You're an artist in the real world, right? So you make things. Is it just Photoshop, or did you dabble in like art class in school and paint, or what's your like? I guess your preference in art and what you've experienced, outside of Horizon first, and then how you brought that into Horizon to kind of express a little bit more of that artistic side.
When I got into Horizon, I quickly learned that, I'm never going to be the best builder and I'm never going to be the best scripter. So I got to figure out something that's going to, put me in my own kind of category. And I said, why don't I just do what I do in the real world and then I make comics? So it's pretty simple. We do a little photo shoot, just like Lolly said, and I go on my computer on Photoshop and I whip it up, and it's a full blown comic. And I've had people here today, like you, and unemployed alcoholic, and Lolly, uh, and we've just been trying to get everybody in the community to be a part of it, and just to keep art alive.
So let's go back with the comics. So your first comic that I saw was in one of the Horizon groups, and I remember seeing something, and maybe I'll get the exact verbiage of what you said wrong, but it was kind of the essence of you didn't want to post too much because you didn't want to kind of spam people. You didn't want to bother people with your comics.
Yeah, that's
What
true.
was that? What was that about? Like, talk through that a little bit because I want to also kind of follow up to that.
That's because when I was on Facebook, you know, a couple years ago, I was posting my artwork to it, and they kind of shadow banned me from doing it because they
Wow.
considered my artwork was spam. So now I'm just kind of nervous about it. Like I don't want it to like come across as like I'm trying to spam people. It's just
It's kind of
entertainment.
amazing. Facebook groups, they it's an interesting dynamic. I'm sure all of y'all are in Facebook groups, whether you're an admin or Facebook groups where admins are a little uh, power hungry, or maybe they're a little take it a little too far. But it's interesting because when you talk about being shadow banned from posting in all these Facebook groups, and then you posted your first comic in the Horizon group, and the response was all positive. Like, you got a ton of
Yeah.
support. Like, what did that kind of change your opinion on continuing this work of art in Horizon, or were you still not convinced?
No, yeah, I went off. Like I got the dopamine, just like they say. And I've been making I've been making comics like ever since. I have about 15 under one shot
Wow.
comics. So we got like 15 stories. They're all free to read on our Facebook page. Instagram doesn't really, their format doesn't really take too kind to the comics, so
Yeah.
we just post on Facebook. But they're free to read. And all you got to do is click on One Shot Comics.
It's interesting you say that because I was looking at the Instagram post that you had made, and it wasn't the same. I don't know if it's the cut of the comic; it chops
Yeah,
off part of the story,
yeah.
but it's really impactful on Facebook. Like, when I watched, see, it feels like I'm actually watching your comics. When I saw your comics, when you went to Rage and you put a story behind the journey through that world, I was blown away. Like, that was at my turning point where I went from just being a fan to I was just obsessed. I needed more. Did you get a lot of like people early on who have been like reaching out wanting to be in your comics, or do you
No,
have to go begging people to like, hey, can I get you to like pose for me, or
I still
show up in
kind
this
of have to
world?
like, yeah, I still got to search out people out. But now that's starting to change. Like more people are starting to say, "Hey, can we do a comic?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do one tonight." I was like, "What? Really? Yeah, come on." And,
It's
yeah,
great because when you started posting these comics, you moved on to the what was it, the Meta Rangers that you did at the Soapstone?
the Meta Rangers. Yeah, so that took place in a world built by Papa X-wing 45. I don't know if it's Papa X-wing or Papa Crossing. I never really figured that out. But it's called
Oh, Papa
Megazord.
Jing.
So
It's
Papa
Papa
Jing,
Jing.
Papa Jing,
Yeah.
Papa Jing. So his
I
world
got it wrong too until you
Megazord.
told me.
Yeah, he's got this dude has a life-size Megazord
Yeah,
in his
it's to
Horizon
scale.
world, and it's the most beautiful thing. Like, not only is it the Megazord, but it's all the Zords put together to make
Yep.
that huge thing, and it's crazy. But he approached me and he wanted me to make a comic based out of it, and yeah, it turned into this whole thing. The whole comic is 20 pages long, and it's Meta Rangers. If any of you watched Power Rangers as a kid, uh, and people loved it. Like, it was our biggest work at the time, and even the Horizon Worlds account commented on it, which was crazy to me. So now I'm trying to like work real hard to get that back. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, the I went to his world, Badger Hole. I went to the Wolves and Wildlings from what is that? The Game of Thrones. And then Megazord was like our wrapping up of the world hop. And as soon as I got there, I was just blown away by this Megazord in front of me. And then there's different perspectives that you can get selfies from to
And
see
he's
the
got the
Megazord in the
music.
background. Yeah, and the music going, and then you can go inside of the chest of the Megazord, and you can put on the helmet, and as you look around, it moves the Megazord's head, which was mind
Yeah.
blowing. Like
And
it
it'll like
just,
shoot lasers from your
yeah.
shoulders.
Shout out Papa Jing for
Yeah.
all of his
Shout out.
incredible art, but also the support for Waffle Hours doing the live streaming. I don't know if you know, but Papa Jing's Facebook page does live streaming of Waffle Hours where they teach math. I think he pops in for the scripting stuff for the Creators Academy, so he does a lot on his page. Now, as far as your page, now you teamed up with Zach the Artist, and when you teamed up with him, how did that come together? Like, was it just, hey, I'm doing art, me too, and then boom, you're working together? Like, what was that?
One day someone messaged me and they said, "Hey, someone else made a comic." So I looked at it and it was Zach. And I said, "Oh, cool. Maybe we can collab." So that's what we did. We collabed and we came up with our first comic together, which is called Night Crew, and it took place in
Mm,
Area 52. You've been in Area
yep.
52? Yep, that
Heck
was built
yeah,
by the
Area
Horizon people, right?
52.
Yeah.
Was it? I'm pretty sure Area 52 was something that let me pull it up because when I went there, I might be thinking of a different world. Oh, it does say Meta Horizon. It's only four
Yeah.
people. You're right.
Yeah.
So you went there for that
So
comic.
yeah, we took a photo shoot there, and we pretended to be like janitors that worked there, and we were just doing our job. And then we find this alien, and then we set the alien free. So yeah, that's called Night Crew. That's also free to read on the Facebook page.
So I see you keep calling out free to read. Now, are you charging for any of your comics? Like, have you gotten into any of those apps where you can have people download and view your comics, or is it just kind of all of
For
them are free to
now,
read? And
I always tell myself, passion comes before profit. So you got to
mm,
build up passion, and then you can work on the profit. But comics, it's how I express myself. You know, I just love telling stories, and I love making art. So yeah, it's free because it's just what I love to do. But I can see it becoming a career eventually. We're actually working on our biggest project yet. It's called Horizon Heroes. Oculus, you're gonna be in it.
hey,
I haven't really decided your part yet. You might die. I haven't figured that out yet. Still deciding. You might die.
that's kind of
I don't
funny.
know.
every
Yeah.
every group that's approached me to be in like a movie or a comic, they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna kill you off," and I'm like, "All right, I guess." Oh, I think I spoiled it. Hold on, forget I said that. I live through long, healthy life and everything I'm a part of. But in all seriousness, I think that's funny because I have been told that I'm either gonna be in the background or I'm gonna die or I'm gonna do something that's kind of
Well,
like
see,
slapstick
now you're not gonna
doing.
die. You're gonna live. You're gonna live.
I'm gonna live a long, healthy
You're gonna
life, and
live.
it's gonna be boring, but that's
Yes.
okay. Um, so the Horizon Heroes, where did you come up with this idea, and who do you have in mind for this? Because I'd love for you to shout out some creators that you either look up to, respect, you like their work, or you just want to work with them.
I don't even remember where Horizon Heroes came from, really, because I don't know where any of my stories come from. They literally just drop out of the sky, and I'm just like, this is it. This is what we're doing. But as for people, we haven't even started casting yet. So we're still
Huh?
working on building the sets for that. And normally we use people's worlds to do our comics, but for the really big
Right.
ones we build it ourselves. So we're still working on the sets, and after that we can get to casting, and we're gonna need a whole bunch of people, whole mess of people for that. Okay,
There
so
you
you
go.
gotta
So if
join.
you're
Yeah, you
interested,
gotta
reach
join
out.
the casting crew. You gotta join the casting crew page on Facebook, and that's where we select our people from. Is whoever's a member of that.
So One Shot Comics Cast and Crew
Yeah,
is the name of the group,
casting
right?
crew. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so the One Shot Casting Crew, if you go on Facebook, you join that group, and then of course, casting calls, you'll see it. He'll post it, and then just show your interest, and of course, most importantly, show up. I'm really grateful that we had a chance to connect, and I was your first for Horizon, or was it One Shot Heroes or Horizon Heroes? What is it going to be called?
Horizon Heroes.
Yeah, I'm grateful that we had a chance to connect, and I'm first on the list. So that's
Yeah, you
awesome.
were
I really
first on the list,
appreciate
dude.
that.
You're like supporting
I
us.
really
I feel like from the start.
oh, I mean, the day you posted that first comic, I was intrigued because I saw worlds in a comic, and I'm like, is
Hmm.
that is that from the world? Are you taking that picture on a PC? Like the backgrounds are so like well done, and it's 2D, but it's 3D, and I was just intrigued by the way that you translated the Horizon world that you photographed and then brought it into your comic style. When you joined Horizon, were you expecting like day one, like I'm going to come in here and I'm going to turn it into art, or were you just kind of figuring it
No,
out like everybody else?
no. Yeah, I was just figuring it out, and I just wanted to be different. I think we all do, and I just relied on my strength to make comics.
So one interesting thing about just observing your growth in Horizon and your support. So early on, like I mentioned, when you posted your picture and you said you got basically shadow banned in other groups, is it strange to you to see so much support in this community as opposed to literally anywhere else?
Yeah, I've never seen like such amazing support before, and I grew up in a church. So people are now sharing our posts, which is rare. I've never known people to share anything that I post,
Right?
and people are commenting and they're coming to me, they're messaging me, telling me how much they love the comics, and it means so much.
Yeah, it's great to have that support, and I love to shout out anytime I can. B Aroma Scent. When B came in here, and I had a chance to meet with her in her world. When I first walked in, it's her shop in the metaverse, and on the wall she has her hours of operation where she's in her world, actually giving advice and showing people products and giving people the chance to buy these products in the real world and ship them to you. And she went on Meta Talks, and she's been kind of a voice in the community, talking about how in the real world it's easier to make a client your friend than it is to make a friend your client. And it's so true, because if anybody in here owns a business or has a business, it's impossible to find people who will just support your business. Now, when I started my business, I DJ in the real world as one of my side hustles, and I was like, I just need to get to 100 subscribers so that way I can get a URL for my YouTube channel, and I just need 100 follows so that way my page will get some traction. And I literally begged 900 plus friends to just give me a chance to support me, and it was the longest, most stressful, and really like self-esteem crushing realism that you really are not going to get that support that you will from strangers. But B came in here, and the entire community was behind her and supporting her and helping her share her posts and stopping in and sharing selfies. And so relating that to what you're doing, when I saw people supporting you, I think I saw somebody ask this question, or I asked this question. Your comics must be wildly popular and um get a lot of traction in the real world. And I think you said no. No, not at all. Like, this is the first.
No, and I've been doing it for about 10 years.
Wow. For 10
Yeah,
years, and you come
for
into
10 years.
Horizon, and like immediately people are like gravitating, like, I need to
Yeah,
read more. Like,
yeah. Thanks.
I think one of my
Thanks. Yeah.
favorite comics was the Meta Home. You were in there and you were talking to the I'm not going to say her name because my house will light up. The Echo Dot, that's or the Echo in the kitchen, and you had made a whole
Yeah.
comic around Rex's Meta Home. Like, talk about that. Like, where did you come up with this story, and like share a little bit about like putting that comic together?
Like I said, these stories just drop out of the sky. I don't know how it's my talent. I just think up stories. So
Like,
I usually try to choose worlds that are like, realistic, kind of detailed.
hmm
And yeah, I just cook one up. Actually, you know what?
like I just thought it
I
was
don't know I don't know what the comic's gonna be when I'm taking the pictures. No clue
lick
what it's
my
gonna be about.
pussy.
But when I get on my computer, that's when it comes alive.
That's amazing. So you just take a bunch of pictures, get some good shots, and then you'll
Yeah,
get it all in
I'll
your
figure it
computer,
out.
and then you're like, let's get the story. So what I loved about that comic was that you basically are walking into your house and you're arguing with your Echo, and she's basically like putting you down. I guess we got some people we got to clean up, so appreciate that. But I really love your comics because the stories are so funny. Like it's not like it's not like you're trying to tell jokes in your story. It's like your stories are just really engaging and they're funny. Like, have you kind of thought about when you post that story if it's going to bomb or maybe it's just not going to do well, or do you just post it and just whatever happens is happens?
Immediately, like I'll post it and I'll be like, well, that bombed. But
what what do you think is a successful post? Like just anyone comments or shares, or you got to have a number, or
it comes down to how I feel about it. Like if I liked it, hey, that's good enough.
yeah. It's tough because when you post something on social media, and I mean, in Horizon, I personally don't really care too much. If I post something and it gets like no reactions and no comments, it kind of sucks. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah,
what
it
happened there.
does.
Maybe Facebook hates me today, but um, I guess if I put a lot of time and effort like you do in that comic, it would kind of be kind of if I think I did well, that's kind of my benchmark.
But you
But
know what? Like I've been doing this for 7 years, like 10 years, and I got really thick skin.
I mean,
So
that makes sense. If you've gone through people ignoring your posts, people removing your posts, basically shadow banning you in groups, this is kind of an improvement. Like it just staying
yeah,
in the group is like,
we're
hey,
getting
step
somewhere.
up. S-
Hey,
So as
is
far as
this
your
guy the camera?
oh,
Is this guy right here the camera looking at me?
so the funny thing is, I don't know why, but he's actually looking dead at me, capturing the whole stage. But for whatever reason on desktop, Horizon has it where he's looking off there, like he's not interested in the show. He's just staring off into
Okay.
space. But no, that's the camera.
I'm like I'm
MetaMasters,
like this guy's
DBZ's
really into it.
recording for some
This
promos.
guy's super into.
Yeah, he's really into your story. So
You know,
this
I
week,
have this remote.
oh,
I have
good,
this remote that you click a button and your avatar disappears. You could use that for the camera guy.
huh? That's interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
It's in.
as far as the cameras, I'd rather them be there and just looking goofy. That way people kind of
Yeah.
stay away from them. But
Okay.
so
Makes
as
sense.
far as art, we've been talking about art all this week. We had Art Wars, which shout out Tone Scarfo. We had Chirac and Breezy, who had incredible artwork that they shared. And if you haven't checked it out, I think somebody posted the live stream. So make sure you check out Tone Scarfo, the Art Wars. Incredible art. And on that note of art, earlier on, I was talking about how a young artist who's the daughter of a friend in Horizon had commissioned a piece of art off of a picture that Last Girl did for me. So lots of art going on this week, and I want to continue on this conversation because obviously you've done a lot of art. Do you have any encouragement or any tips or maybe just anything you want to share about your experience making art in the metaverse, even if it's being ripped out of the metaverse to make your comics, on anyone out there who wants to get started in making art for Horizon?
So I'm gonna tell you all this one thing, okay? And I tell myself this every time I start something. In the beginning, it's always gonna be ugly, and then it gets beautiful.
Mm.
Okay, so you gotta move past that phase. It's gonna look terrible. It's gonna look bad. You're gonna hate it. But if you just keep working at it, it's it's gonna be great.
So now is this ugly like you're just being hard on yourself, or are you just talking about where you're just the
Well,
process
I
of
mean,
trying to
it's the
I
because
mean seriously, everybody's hard on themselves.
so when I do a drawing, okay, it's gonna start out as a sketch, really rough
Hmm.
sketch. Okay, it's not gonna look pretty, but the whole point of it is you got to keep you know working on it, and then you get the final product, and you can step back and you can enjoy it, just like Oculus right now. He's enjoying the stage.
I try to fit it in while talking so that way I can
No, you good.
get the pictures. But I was gonna ask you as a follow up now, if we hang out here for a little bit and you get some pictures, are you gonna turn this into a comic or is this trash? Like this is
I
not of any
could.
interest to you?
I could.
Nah, that's okay. The talk show stage is really just to kind of get people up here to share any of their experiences, any positive affirmations, but also any advice because there's so many different kinds of people out there that are doing all different types of amazing things in Horizon. We've had a lawyer speak, we've had a CPA on here speak, we've had people who are giving meditations, people who are doing support groups. There's all different kinds of people out there that behind their avatar they're doing these incredible things to give back to communities, or they're just being supportive, or maybe they have a profession that's helpful, if you want to start a business. So as far as people who have been supporting you, is there anybody who's given you like any kind of support that's helped you in here to kind of find your way, or you kind of just muddling through it and just kind of picking up your art and just making friends and seeing where it goes?
No, there's a ton of people that have supported me, and they're the reason why we built the One Shot Hall of Fame, so we could give thanks
Mm.
to everybody who's helped us on a project. If you go into the Hall of Fame, you'll see a whole wall with plaques, golden plaques, and special thanks, and everybody who's ever helped us winds up on that plaque.
So I haven't helped you. That's what you're saying
Yeah,
right
no.
here.
Well, your name's going up there. Your name's going up there.
Oh,
Don't worry about
really?
it. We'll
I was
get you.
totally
Yeah,
joking. I
yeah.
totally joking.
I mean, not
I
yet,
actually would
but we
love
got you.
to like collaborate with you on something. It doesn't have to be a world build, but just the pictures for the Horizon Heroes is it means a lot to me because you not only invited me to be a part of it, but just to be a part of art, be a part of something in Horizon history. These are the things that in 5, 10 years from now we're gonna look back and we're gonna be like Horizon Live, like what a piece of trash compared to the sets that we have now. We've got 100 guests. What about like venues where we got the 4K screens and we're
The
watching like
classics.
SV Church has their church every Sunday in venues, like the things that are out here that are just now getting started being brought into venues, from venues to Horizon. In 5 years it's going to be like we're going to have links to get out to the outside world and supporting through Patreon and all these other links, also having like web browsers and video and all kind of like
Oh
things
God,
that
yeah.
right now exist in other metaverses. Is there anything that you would like to see in here that could help you with your artistic ability? Maybe a reference screen while you're building, or if you're even interested in that.
If I can just display images in here, once we're able to do that,
Mm,
we'll blow up. Like I'm telling you.
capacity 4 people and an entire museum of one shot comics. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
I know that.
I wish I had a phone. I wish I had a phone in here. Like I wish instead
Really?
of the wrist thing, I had like a phone, like a smartphone. There you go. Yeah, and you can just take selfies with that. Do whatever. It would feel
I mean, I
like if
guess
I
the
could bring my
selfie part.
phone, if I could bring my actual phone into VR with me, like if it could track my phone and show the screen and everything, that'd be great.
I guess. I mean, I try to stay off of my phone because people are always messaging for problems, whether it's work emails or something's going on in some chat or Discord or something. But yeah, I get it. I mean, having your phone might be helpful if you actually use your phone and it's not something you're avoiding while you're in VR. But I was thinking that if I had just the ability to get a web browser, that kind of opens it up to everything that I could possibly want and not
Oh
even have
yeah,
to worry about anything from there. But images is something that I would love to have because I started
I've
setting up worlds with like screens. Club One had screens, and I'm like, just maybe if I make will it into existence, just think about it, build for it, and I just don't have a screen yet. But that's what I really want. I want a screen. So your comics, bringing them into Horizon, being able to display them. Now, let's say it's maybe next year, and we're able to bring images in. What do you do after you're able to put up like that, like I said, that museum, and you just have your comics up there? Do you think that you would try to like create things out of those images, or maybe is there something that you would do beyond just having a museum of your art? Because I know there's tons of people that are like using doors and taking pictures of profile
yeah,
pictures to make doors
that's
and
clever.
use them as art. But
Yeah,
I mean, is there anything else as far as on from an art perspective that you think would be helpful in here?
from an art perspective. maybe more shapes to work with.
Yeah, the
That's about
shapes
all
is
I can think
something that
of.
I know it would be great to have some, but
Oh, you know
the
what? You know
capacity is
what?
kind of
I
the
would like more
underlying.
textures. I would like more textures too. Like imagine if we had a brick wall texture. That would save us a lot.
I think in user voice that thing has been in there since user voice started. We've been begging for brick wall textures. I don't know if you've seen I don't remember what talk it was, but Lakes '05, we did a video and we built a brick wall, and it was part of one of those Vidyuu tutorial videos, and it was talking about capacity. Oh, that's what it was, the optimization video. So one of his first worlds, he wanted to build a house, so he started laying brick by brick, and then he even went a step further and he started putting mortar joints in the bricks. So it was like one line, one line, one line, and he got not even an entire wall, and he ran out of capacity. And was just like, what do I do? Like, how is this possible? And
Mm.
like coming in early on and thinking I'm going to build a house brick by brick, and then you realize, okay, I'm going to build a house and it's just going to be four shapes and a roof, and that's kind of where you got to figure out how you're going to detail it. The brick texture, I don't know how that's not a thing yet, but so many people have been begging for that texture, and we just haven't seen any since the original texture. So I wholeheartedly
Mm.
agree there.
That would have been
I want to ask out in the
my
audience, do
first
you
one.
have any artists out there? Any artists or people who into Horizon art? I love it. I love it. There's definitely some amazing artists in Horizon. Um, I'm a big fan of Angel the Artist, of Sadie Chan, Chirac, and of obviously Breezy. But there's so many people that are creating amazing art that I can't even believe what they're able to do with these shapes. And most recently, you were a part of one of those artistic um, Vidyuu initiatives, which was for the anime world. So, talk about that experience. Did you what were you thinking when we reached out about creating an anime piece for Anime World?
I was thinking I got to do this in 3 days. All right, bet. Like it was such short notice, but I was like, you know what? Challenge accepted. And he said I could do any anime character. So I chose to do like an original character because if I'm gonna build something, I'm not used to building characters in here in like 3D modeling people. So I said, if I'm gonna do it, why don't I do something that's super familiar to me? So I chose one of my original characters from my comic, the Four Stones, and it was Mage. Uh, and after I built him, I stepped back and I looked at it and I was just like, wow, I really miss this character because I haven't worked on them because I got shadow banned. After that, I
Mm.
kind of slowed down, and I was like, okay, let me reapproach this. And in that time frame, I fell into Horizon Worlds and started making comics, and here we are now. And yeah, so thank you so much for inviting me to that because you made me realize that there's like this piece of me that I haven't paid attention to, and I really want to get back to it. But I'm gonna keep working on this Horizon stuff for now, so I can build an audience and maybe I can get back to it.
And it's amazing that it was an original, because when we reached out, there were a number of people that we asked, just build in the anime style that you're comfortable with, and it wasn't really anything that it was a specific style or a specific kind of art. And what really blew us were the different types of art that people chose, like the abstract art of the painting that was done for One Piece, and the one original pink eye, I think it was from I think still in the audience somewhere, Dominic Patrick. But either way, your mage, JP Cloud did the Colossal Titan. So it was like all of these incredible pieces of art that people put together, and they all looked so different. And that was kind of what we were going for, is just to kind of commission the community to just put together what their favorite art style is. Because if I tell you, I want you to draw something, I want it to be in black and white, I want it to be uh, a realistic type painting of a person in history. Well, if everybody does that, you've got the same type of art, even if it is their own personal style to it, but it's
Yeah,
just very restricting. So, giving you that opportunity to do something that you had comfortably within that short time frame really did show people's capabilities. But also, I had a lot of people tell me that they were surprised that in that time frame, what they were able to create. Were you worried that you weren't going to be able to detail it enough, or maybe you weren't going to be able to capture it the way you wanted when it was all said and done?
No, I'm pretty talented, so didn't worry about it.
Nah, bro, it was cake. I
I'm telling you though,
appreciate
it
the
did look
honesty.
bad. It did look bad when I started. I didn't know what I was doing. Just like I said, it's gonna look ugly. Just keep working on it.
See, that's the honesty that I was looking for, because every time I've tried to create something, this set alone, I mean, it to me is kind of basic, but I hate rounded objects. So like even these cushions being the rounded cubes, it takes for every rounded cube I could have had two of these regular cubes. So sorry about the uncomfortable chairs that y'all are sitting in, but it saves capacity and I can get more people in here. But when I was building this, I had a half of a circle, hollowed out circle, and it was literally just this. It was a hollowed out circle, and it was kind of like a
Oh,
cave, and that's where I was going to come out of. And then I had another hollowed out circle over here, and I was like, this is where people will spawn in. And then I just had a couple of stairs and a couple of couches, and I was like, all right, gray boxing is done. And then I thought about it, and I was like, what the hell am I going to do? How am I going to make this look better? And eventually I had amazing, talented people in here, Lakes 05, Mercot 27. I had Dan Tanzer. A number of creators came in here and just started like detailing off of what I had built. And so it encouraged me to come in here and start detailing. So I put together the DJ booth, and then we started
oh,
working
nice.
on like the sign. So it was like I built by myself, and I was so I guess demotivated. But as soon as I brought collaborators in, it was like, oh wow, okay, I need to do something. I'm starting to feel energized and inspired and motivated. And I gravitated to enjoying music, and I created some turntables and a mixer, and then like I said, it was just like it started to just flow, and then built this stage with the I guess the circles steps. But have you collaborated with anybody in your worlds, or has it just been kind of you or you and Zach, or like what's the dynamic of your building so far?
My building is complicated because I'm so used to just being solo, doing things by
Hmm.
myself. But now that I'm in this community where we all support each other, I feel encouraged too to like I gotta open myself up more to people so we can all work together to build this whole metaverse.
Because when you and I first met in Horizon, I think it was at I can't remember who built it, but it was a bus party, and they had the beer pong when you got out of the bus, and you had made me a tester. I think it was you had like your hall, and you had your burger joint. Did you build those by yourself, or did you work with anybody on any of your early creations?
Well, I don't even remember where I brought you. You said the burger? No,
Yeah,
it
it
was a
was
burger
Sado
place.
Burger or
Oh, okay,
something.
yeah,
That
it
was
was
kind of like the first burger
Mixados.
joint.
Yeah, yeah,
McSados, there you go.
Mixados. Um, yeah. Sorry, what was the question? What was did I
As
partner
far as like
up with
earlier on,
anybody?
like were you collaborating with people, or did you work by
Oh
yourself?
no, no, no. I've just been solo this whole time. But
Um, yeah, we'll say yes. Vote yes to your favorite.
No, 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 stop, 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 stop.
All right. Well,
he's a special guest.
this is why again,
Wait,
please take
um,
breaks. Make sure that you take breaks when you're in your headset. Mental health is very
Yeah.
important, so make sure
You
you
ever
take
play
breaks.
Cyberpunk?
Appreciate it.
what are
Those
you
Yes.
crazy
talking about?
people. You ever play that game? Those crazy people. Yeah. They just go
Yeah.
insane because they're plugged in all the time.
Yeah. So as far as Mixados, you didn't have any collaborators on that, but when did you start collaborating? Like, did you realize that you just wanted someone else to help you build, or was it a different perspective? Like, talk about that, because I know, I like I said earlier, I got in by world testing, and I was really just complaining and breaking things, and then people found value in me finding broken parts of their world, and I realized maybe it's not just complaining and breaking things; it's actually like making the experience better for people who are joining the world later on. Um, any of that? as far as your
I don't
collaboration
think
experience?
I've collaborated with anyone really so far. Like when I build my
No.
worlds, it's usually I usually have like a vision of it already in my head, so I just get right to it. You know, but when you collab with other people, it opens up for more possibilities. Like Zach, for instance, Zach, my partner, Zach the artist. His style is abstract, and mine's based in it's more realism. But if we could put that two together, like I feel like we can make some amazing things. So I don't know, maybe partner up with people who are the opposite of you, because hey,
It's a good advice actually, because when I talk about collaboration in here, people who are amazing scripters will put together these super rich worlds full of interactive things to do, and then the design, you look at it and you're like, I I, I don't know what happened. Like they're so talented. What come, like, coffee mugs got three shapes to it, and it doesn't look real, or you go to a world for somebody who's an amazing sculptor, and then you walk through the door because it's non-collidable because they don't script, and you're just kind of confused because you've been to worlds that have both. And it's because when you don't collaborate and you're really good at one thing, or maybe you're just okay at everything, it really loses that touch of having another person, like I said, their perspective and their talents. You really do kind of work off of each other and you create something amazing. And there was something that earlier on, as people were learning how to script and they were really like amazing, talented scripters out there, starting to get into building and like watching some of these people creating their own worlds. They're still really great worlds, but I've seen people who just get together and these talented builders and these talented scripters, and you can tell when you have a world that's been collaborated on, because it's just like that next level. Like you go in and it just looks amazing, it feels amazing, you can actually interact with things. And some of these game worlds, like that's why I really enjoy when I see a world that's been collaborated on. So for me, I personally, I just do a little bit of building, I do very basic scripting, and that's kind of my extent. But when I collaborate with somebody, like I feel great about the fact that they want me there to kind of do more than world test and just kind of build. But as far as in an art scene, I imagine that when you're trying to build something for an art piece, it's not so easy to collaborate with somebody on that. Have you thought
no,
about collaborating on one piece of art with someone?
no. Um, but looking back, I've always wanted to have that team or that person, that person that it's almost a rival,
Right.
So, but I've never had that. I've always been solo.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder, like, if you and Zach have this kind of opposite art style, and you're coming together to put out, this new art and these new comics and everything that One Shot's doing. Have you thought about bringing in someone that is the opposite of an artist, somebody who can kind of do set design and really get all the scripting down, or maybe it's when you're designing a world for your bigger comics and you need somebody who's like just amazing at sculpting. Like, have you thought about making those connections with anybody, or have anybody in mind that you'd like to work with?
As far as scripting goes, the good thing about it being a photo shoot is that you don't really need the set to do anything. You can like manipulate it yourself. So there's really no need to have
Mm,
scripts. So we save on that. But no, good point. It is a definitely a good idea. I would like to get a builders team together, like people who can build a one-shot comic scene, and we can go and do the photo shoot and maybe save it, put it in the Hall of Fame. But that's in the works
that's cool. That's cool because
because our sorry, our projects are
no.
only going to get bigger. They're only going to get bigger. Like I'm not going to stop. Zach's not going to stop, and yeah, we're just going to go insane.
So wasn't there like a Star Trek comic that you put together? Wasn't there something like that? What was that?
Yeah, our comic Final Frontier, also free to read on the
Final
Facebook
Frontier,
Facebook page. Yeah, Final Frontier. I don't
free
know if
on
that's
the Facebook
copyrighted.
page.
I just kind of used it. But yeah, that was a
Now,
whole. That was.
was that a
Well, yeah,
world?
is it? it was a world. Yeah, I think it's still a world. You can still get to it. I think it's called Final Frontier. It's been a while, but we went all out on that one because we built the whole scene. We built the ship. We built the control room. We built the teleporter room. We built the hospital bed, and
Wow.
it was just like a movie. It was just like how they shoot movies in real life. They build the scenes, go in, shoot, and then edit. And it was just the most amazing thing because that might have been my first big collaboration. I mean, sure, we weren't all building together, but we were all there in the photo shoot together. I think we had about 8 people, and
Wow.
yeah, like I said, I've never known the support like that. So the fact that this is an idea I thought up, and now I have people here willing to help me. It's just mind blowing. I still can't get over it.
So the community supports you with your comics in the group. They support you showing up to, capture these images for the comics. They're sharing your artwork. Um, one of the comments I think someone asked on one of your posts, it was like, you must be like super successful in the real world, and I know
No,
it's like you're like, no, absolutely not. I'm thinking,
we're,
and I'm like, this dude got to be like looked at by somebody for this comic, talent,
no,
because
I'm just a
I
guy
see
at
so
his
many artists that
computer.
just a guy at his computer.
Yeah,
And do
that's
you
me.
like submit any of your art anywhere? Like, do you consider like just sending it off and see if somebody picks it up, or posting it anywhere
No,
else?
I love this community. I love where I'm at right now. But I'd love to focus more one day on getting into other metaverses too. I'd like to spread because there's VR chat, there's alt space, there's they're popping up every day.
It's true. I hear people on this couch at least once mention other metaverses, and I don't have any hate against that or hate for it, because it's true. You need to really get out there and stretch your legs. And if you're going to create, come up with how you're going to use your talents in other metaverses or other products, because it's going to give you an appreciation for whatever one you end up in as your primary home. And everybody has kind of said it's the community that really makes the difference, because while you have different tools, you can import things using Unity, or you're using Blender, or you're out there creating in, spatial, whatever it is that you decide to kind of express yourself artistically, or if you want to build or create, it still kind of makes you realize that Horizon just has a different community. The people in Horizon are just different. The support they give, the community that comes together for you. Have you been to any other places outside of Horizon that you kind of feel that way, or you're still, trying to get in the door to create, or what's your experience outside of here with other metaverse apps?
I'll be honest, I don't really get out much out of edit mode. I have been in VR chat and I have been in alt space. So far, I think this one's the best, at least because of the avatars. I feel like I can actually kind of be me somewhat, but in other metaverses, you're like a block or maybe a bag of Doritos or something. I don't know.
I know, right? The bag of
Yeah.
Doritos is funny because I was talking about my first time in VR chat, and it was like this gang of a hot dog and condiments come running up on me, and they're like yelling at me, and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening right now, but I just want it to stop. Like, why is this hot dog, ketchup bottle, and some mustard like really ready to me in VR? And that was my welcome to VR chat, and I was just like, back to Horizon. So I wanted to get into VR chat because I loved watching those videos on YouTube. VR chat in a nutshell. I was such a huge fan, and I was laughing hysterically. Like, I'm thinking I'm on like volume 6, and I'm still dying laughing of all of the things that going on. And then I go in there, and I'm like, nope, 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 nope.
Have you
But
seen the movie?
I haven't, so I
No,
kind of
neither
stopped
have
when I
I.
came in here.
Has anybody seen the
Yeah,
movie here?
yeah,
No.
nope.
Apparently, they made a
I think
movie
everybody
in
likes
VR
Horizon.
chat. So, yeah, we can make a movie in here. Definitely put it on Paramount Plus or Hulu, Netflix.
It's funny you should mention movie, because I know a guy who just happens to
You
be
know a
out there
guy.
in the crowd that created the first movie in Horizon. Oh no, I put him on the stage. It's Will 400,
Uh,
y'all.
hey,
What's up, dude?
Come
hey,
on up
how's
on
it
the stage,
going?
grab a seat. Have
All
a seat.
right.
A movie in Horizon. What a novel idea. What do you think, Will? Should we try?
Yeah. I mean, you already
I
tried it,
forget.
right?
Yeah, I already tried it. Still working on more, and it's actually pretty fun. So yeah,
Is it on YouTube?
it is on
It
YouTube.
is.
It's called it's called Blue Wave Studios. If you haven't watched our first film, it's called From Beyond. We also have a department called VR Shorts. That's a department of Blue Wave, and we do a little bit more shorter films than our longer stuff. So yeah, we've been working on more films here in Horizon, and it's you were talking about collaborations and stuff like that, and um, it's wonderful when you find those collaboration of people and stuff like that. It just makes things better. So like I have a few people in Blue Wave who do really good at designing stuff, attention to detail,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, collaborated with people who do really good on scripting, stuff like that. And then when we film, oh sorry, I have broken controller, sorry. Um but yeah, it's just the collaboration, it's awesome. So, I to be honest, I did miss the question you were asking before you brought me up here.
It was more of a lead into a question that I kind of wanted to ask both of you because I was talking about how we can create content in here and if you go into other metaverses and he was talking about we should probably make movies in here because there's a VR chat movie. So the movie that was made in here was 100% filmed in Horizon, sets created in Horizon, people in Horizon actually doing the acting.
Hmm.
Early on we were talking about the Horizon Heroes and he's not sure what to do with that comic, but he was like, I'm pretty sure you die in there somewhere. And I'm like, why does everyone want to kill me off? And it was kind of funny because I was talking to you about my character just kind of being in the background doing something. So I'm hoping that people will hire me to live throughout more than the first act if anybody's interested. um but you have a movie that you're working on now, right? Is that anything you can share about an idea or maybe just what to look for?
So yeah, I mean, I'm not good at writing. I'm more good at directing and the concept of things. So I usually have people help me write. I write stuff out, some notes, and then they go into it. But yeah, the movie we're working on, it's a little difficult because I'm pushing Blue Wave itself, um beyond the last movie, um because the first movie was done in SD, but that was all
Mm-hmm.
we had. That's the only resources we had at the time. That movie was came out like what, about a year ago, or
Yep.
coming soon, yeah, about a year. So yeah, it's just yeah, the next movie I'll say, like, I plan on having Oculus in it, and of course he dies a couple times, so
Couple
I'll
times,
throw
yeah.
that out.
Just a
Yeah.
couple times.
Uh
Just a couple times.
yeah, it's kind of a more of a funny movie, so um yeah, it's just hard. It's hard coming up with stuff. But and
No, that's
then
And you're
we
the
got
first,
other films that we're
right?
coming out with. Yeah. Huh? What was that?
You're the first. You're the first. You said he was the first guy to make a movie in here.
first full
First.
length film.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
And you
it's about a
submitted that
20
to
minute
some
film.
film festivals, right?
Yeah, we submitted it to a couple of film festivals. We have one that's reviewing it. One film festival in Hollywood actually gave us a honorable mention for our film. Uh, they said if the quality was a little bit better, it would have been, more than a honorable mention. But I had to email back and say, hey, SD, that's the only resources we had. If it was done in HD, it probably would have
Right.
went a little bit further. But I'll take what I can take. It's awesome. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
awesome motivation for this next film because you have better tools. You'll be able to get HD. You got already the support of your Blue Wave community and people who support Blue Wave outside. So I mean, I'm excited to see what you put together. Anything you want to share on where to find you if you're doing a casting call for people who aren't going to die every 20 minutes in the movie? You know.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group called Blue Wave Studios Fan Group. Um, and if you don't follow that and you want to do acting, I know a lot of people come to me like, "Oh, I do acting. I want to do acting for your next film." It's just like I hear that all the time, and I'm gonna do a casting call. We actually will have an event. Anyone who wants to act, they come in. I kind of explain a little bit about the movie and the commitment so one can put in, and from there, that's how I'll decide who's approved. So it's really hard because there's not a lot of spots for it. We are working
Mm.
on shorter films that are about 5 minutes long, 3 to 5 minutes long. I have a lot written up right now, and probably going to start doing sets like that so we have consistent content coming out. So and we can get more people into for acting as well. So my team doesn't even know about that, so I just spoiled it to you all. So there will be a lot more films coming out. So yeah.
That's awesome. So on the note of the casting calls, it's really awesome that you're doing more of a stricter casting call to get people's commitments and make sure they're actually committed to being in the movie. I did want to ask you, and I don't know if you ever answered this for From Beyond. I kind of brute forced my way into the final scene. I showed up because they were in Tanzer's pub, which is one of the scenes that was used in the film, and so they're filming this last shot, and it's when Tanzer enters the bar. And I'm like, hey, what if I just stand by the arcade machine and kind of say, hey, everybody, Tanzer's coming? And Will's like, yeah, do that,
Matt.
Oculus.
Yeah, Matt, when Matt came in. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was Matt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was funny because our first film, Horizon, wasn't open up to the public. It was still in
Yeah.
beta, so the community was really small at the time. So I was like, shoot, I need to fill up this spot. And I just, anyone that was on my friends list, and I told everyone that was in that world, I was like, invite whoever you want. They come in, we'll explain it to them. They want to be an extra in the background. And it was our last shot for before we go into editing
Literally the
the whole
last shot.
film. It was the last shot, and I just was so excited to get it done because it took about 7 months to make it. Yeah, it
I
takes
know,
a long
right?
time. It's a lot of patience. Um, so yeah, it's just Oculus came in and he's like, "Hey, can I do this?" I'm like, "Cool, yeah, do it." So and it worked out well. So
Yeah, that was in my early stages of trying to just put my face on everything. Because when I was doing community building, it was really hard to find people because it was just the beta. There was no one around. So when we did this show originally, there was room for 20. I think capacity was like 16. Half those chairs weren't out here. And this was like, we would only use this stage if there was something huge happening. And like Will said, trying to fill 20 slots was just hard. And even when capacity was 12 to 14 people, because of actually having things in your world, are 12 people online right now. Who do you have? Nope, you have the same people I do. It was so difficult to just get people to come together. So that's 7 months. Hopefully it's like maybe 5 months for this next one. Maybe it'll be easier to get people to just pop in.
yeah, yeah, this next one's a little bit harder because I mean, I'm just trying to find more collaborators for set designing. So, I mean, that's a guarantee, spot to be helpful for the films. Your name will be in the credits. I definitely show off the credits to anyone involved. But yeah, set designing is probably what slows us down the most.
Mm.
So, but yeah, if we had more set designs, we can probably get started on a film within a couple weeks, really. But yeah, it's usually me and one other person who's on, for a short amount of times per day. So yeah, but I appreciate the small things. So yeah.
So bringing you on stage on the peak of talking about creating sets for comics, and you're looking for sets for your movie, that's a failed match right there. There's nothing to offer. You're both looking for set designers.
Well, I
Now,
do with what I do, but the thing is you know, like I don't know if you have set designers or you do it yourself, but it's like, hey, collaborations. You know, I have a couple set designers. Maybe we could
mhm.
collaborate with the community and help others a little bit. So, yeah, kind
See,
of.
my problem with that is like when I work, like I zoom through, and sometimes I can
Mm-hmm.
be maybe too fast for people, so it feels like I'm taking over. So that's just one issue I have with collabing. Like I just get too involved into it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
Yeah,
Now,
I'd love
one
to
thing
help
that
you.
I did
I'd
want to
love to help you
mention, if
because
you
sorry.
maybe promotional art, because your art is just incredible, the comics. So maybe there's something there you could work together for the promotion for the film. Maybe you can grab some scenes and put some art together for you. I mean, that would be incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
happens
see your
sometimes.
work a lot of the time. I'm just the videos you see of you how you do it and all that process. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
like Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever. I was like, that takes a while to, you know, build up some skills and stuff like that. Like I'm still messing around with it, and I give you a lot of credit and just watching you
Thank you.
do things, and I'm just like, you make it look so easy, but you know,
Thank you.
I know
Thank
how
you.
much work is behind it, so it's really cool. You know, I very I admire your work all the time I
I
see
really
it.
appreciate
So,
that. Thank you so much.
yeah,
Please keep posting that too, because when you did the Horizon Hero for me, and you did the fire and the changing of the color of the eyes and just everything you put on those, and I can't remember who you did the artwork. It was you and there was a female. You were kind of like putting together all of like the shading and giving like more life to the facial features. Those
Yeah,
videos are incredible. So please keep. Have
thanks.
y'all seen Sado's videos of how his artwork is done? Please go and check out not only his page, check out One Shot Comics cast and crew group, and then check out One Shot Comics page for more of those videos because they are incredible. Shout out to you and all of your work that you're doing, because those, like Will said, just watching that process. I see like when people put those Photoshop, like what are they called, stop motion or um, what's it called when they speed through the whole process of
Oh,
showing
speed
how you did the
run.
work. Yeah, the speed run of the process, starting from just the basic picture and then all the layers that you put in and the adjustments. Like, it's mind blowing and it's really
Yeah,
inspiring to see. So please keep posting those.
thank you. I'd love to get on that level when it comes to the actual comics, but it takes time. Just like you said, it takes a lot of time.
I would watch it. If it was literally like a 20-minute speed run of a comic, I'd sit there and watch it. I definitely
Yeah.
would. Um, I can't
yeah, I
remember what it
definitely do.
was.
I watched your whole video, and I'm just so into it because it's just like, oh, what's he doing now? What, you know, all these
Right,
swivels and whatever with the paintbrush and erasing things around it, and
right.
I'm like, what's he gonna do? And then it's just like,
Nick,
wow, like the detail you do with your art into like just like the avatars, just to make it so much better, eyelashes, all that stuff. Like I was just like,
Oh, the
whoa.
hair.
And
The hair is his
the
thing.
hair,
yeah,
yeah,
the
the
hair.
hair,
Hair is a big
they,
thing. I love hair.
yeah, yeah,
Great
it's
hair, by the
just,
way. Great
hey,
hair.
thank you.
Yeah, I like the hair. Yeah. I'm like
Oh
looking at you. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm looking at. I'm like, is this what I look like? Is this what I look like? Let's see.
Didn't even think about that. That's amazing. All right. So, Will, before I kick you off the stage, anything else you want to share, where they can find you, anything that's, you want them to know about?
Just Blue Wave Studios, you know, on YouTube. That's where our contents are. Our fan groups, I post on there as well. So, yeah, just shout out if you have any questions or anything. Just message. We also have our page, Blue Wave Studios page. If you find that and message through that, yeah, those messages come to me, and I'll answer any questions you have. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. appreciate you coming to the stage. Appreciate you sharing a little bit of
Thank you
information
for
about what you do. I know it was kind of in relation to what we were talking about with Sado and the set design. I wanted to kind of get into the set design that you do, and I'm really glad that you had a chance to share a little bit about Blue Wave, and congrats on the success. Congrats on the collaboration and your honorable mention from a Hollywood studio and film festivals. So excited to
Mhm.
see what the future holds for Blue Wave.
I appreciate
And
it.
if y'all
Thank
don't
you.
know Blue Wave, when you throw up your hands, you got to say whoosh. So let me get y'all whoosh for Blue Wave Studios. Whoosh.
uh,
All right, man. I told Will I was going to make that a thing early on when I was hanging out with the Blue Wave crew. I don't even know if I'm official Blue Wave. I just like to kind of hang out and help, and if there's anything I can do to contribute, because I love supporting communities. I love supporting initiatives that are going on in Horizon. And I don't know what we were doing, but I was just like saying whoosh over and over again, and he was just looking at me crazy. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Trust me, it'll catch on." So now, like all the Blue Wave events, at the 1 year anniversary thing that we held, everybody in the crowd, when you do your confetti, do the whoosh. So um all right, so Sado, I was hoping that we could get Zach in here. Unfortunately, he is running late, so I just want to kind of ask you a little bit more about your collaboration with Zach. What's the future look like for One Shot, and anything else you want to share with the audience here about just your art? Anything that you're working on that they can find? Anything in the past that you want to shout out? Kind of open floor.
I teamed up with Zach because he told me all the things he could do. And when you wanna collab with people, you want to find people that have skills that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Zach is really the one who knows about blockchain, Web3, NFTs. I'm just the guy who does the art. I don't know how to market myself. I'm not a salesperson, for one. You know, um, so we have our partner Leroy. He helps us market our comics and gets it out to other groups. And
Is that
Zach's
the
the
Meta
one that's gonna,
Hospitality?
yeah, Meta Hospitality.
Ah, Leroy.
Yep,
Yes. Love that
Leroy.
dude. Super
Is it
supporter.
Leroy? I feel like I've
Leroy.
been saying his name wrong this whole time.
Yeah, he got the big
Leroy.
R, the big L.
Leroy.
Leroy.
Got you.
Yeah,
Let's
Meta
just edit that part
Hospitality.
out.
It's live. No worries.
It's that random laugh.
Leroy. Just like you've been
Leroy.
saying.
Leroy. Leroy.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking. All right. So anyway, so you're talking about Leroy and working with him for the marketing.
Yes. Leroy's on marketing. Zach's on Web3, blockchain, NFTs, and I'm on the photo edits. And I actually think Zach's coming in right now. I hope I can stall you long enough for him.
Well, if he is, he's taking his good old time, fashionably
Oh yeah,
late, no worries.
yeah.
So, as slow as you can, tell people where to find. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so on the note of the marketing side, so it's kind of interesting because I feel like as an artist, marketing is literally posting your art, and I couldn't
No.
be further from the truth, right? So, what's
Yeah.
marketing of art?
Don't ask me. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out now.
Don't
Like I
ask
can I
me.
can make some
So,
pretty cool stuff, but it's just
so it's
getting
funny
it out to
because
all of you.
like when I go places, and it's hilarious because like Terica and a few others will say that I'm like Horizon influencer, and I don't relate to it, but I kind of get it because I have to take pictures and document everything and share it because I want people to get excited and encouraged to check out worlds and support other artists and other creators. But you're an artist, and I'm like, okay, so when I post my stuff, it's so boring, it's so bland, there's no art behind it, there's no flash, there's no wow. And I watch some of these people like Leroy and Meta Hospitality, and influencers and content creators like Jay Dunn, and watching the things that are being put out by MetaMasters and DBZ and Hardy West and Tone Scarfo. Like I could go on for hours about all of these amazing creators that are in here creating, and then they take all this content and they create amazing content on social media, and I'm just like, impact text, point 15, write a text, post it, put a description, send. Yes, marketing genius. And I feel like trash because it's like zero artistic ability behind putting some art out there or putting out like a marketing piece for like even Art Wars. I'm so grateful that Hardy sent me all the artwork and all of the posts for me because I could have never came up with any of that, and it was an amazing flyer. So I mean, like, do you put together any flyers? Like, is that something that you would do, or you just even that's just like
Yeah, I can do anything. I can do flyers. I can do ads. I can do
it sounds like marketing,
all.
right?
Yeah, like I can, like I said, I can make cool stuff. But there's a whole technical aspect to marketing. There's
Mm.
strategy, and I'll be honest, I'm not the most organized person.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Artistic people, I guess it's that left and right brain
Yeah,
thing,
we're
like
all over
messy
the place.
people,
Definitely.
that's kind of the thing. Like I can come up with ideas and I can be imaginative and the follow through and the organization of it is just non-existent. Where are my artistic people out there? All the creatives. Let me see you. Where are the creatives at? The messy people that are nope, no creatives. There's one. Fantastic.
There's
There's
one.
one creative. Where's my organized
Yeah,
people? Where are the people that are organized
yeah,
and you lying? You can't be both. All right. They're both. So the artistic side and the organized side, I can't get those two to talk or get along. So
yeah.
in my personal job, like I can be organized, as a project manager, but as just everything else, it's like I don't think I'm very organized and I'd rather just be creative with the ideas. Um, is that Zach yet? I don't think it is. Somebody just kind of wandering in.
They're invisible.
Um, so one shot. What's the future of one shot? What do you got coming up next besides Horizon Heroes? Anything that you're trying to work on or trying to get off the ground or
I live in the moment mostly, but I can tell you that it's not always going to be about comics. Like we're going to
well, that's
expand. We're
cool.
going to keep doing more. Yeah,
Like graphic novels or are we talking like
I'm talking maybe one day I might film movies too,
oh cool.
and possibly
Very
even go
cool.
beyond that because that's why I got into comics in the first place because it was like making a movie, but you know didn't have all the work
It's
attached
the
to it.
storyboards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the storyboard of the movie. So yeah, that's what I really love to do one day is film and make movies.
So maybe there is a connection there. You could do some storyboards, get connected with Blue Wave, put together a movie, and then next step, work into your own movie. I mean, there's all kind of opportunities out here in the metaverse. I can't stress enough to everybody out there, collaboration and community. It's part of the message of every show that we've had so far, and I'm so grateful that the people that have been on this couch have all mentioned it. The community supporting the artwork, community is supporting all of the initiatives that are being put together to create these comics, the community helping out with set design, the community supporting Blue Wave. Like it really is without this community, it's like when we were in the beta struggling to get 12 people into a room just to be able to shoot one last scene took like hours. And now it's like people come out here, they show up and they participate, and it's amazing. I would like to open up the mic here. Somebody left the headphones, but if you want to step up to the mic, if you got any questions, whether it's about the comics, about art, about anything you want to talk about, please feel free to step on up. I appreciate it. Oh, it looks like we got Will. He might just be cleaning up the headphones. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do I have to wear this? Oh, okay. Um, so I was saying, how long does it take you to do your work, like from start to end?
Totally
Any
missed that
comic,
question.
any comic could take me like anywhere between a day to maybe three. But
Wow,
the big comics they take maybe, eh, I'll say 2 weeks at the most.
2 weeks.
Yeah, because
How
like I
long do
said,
you
when I work,
spend per day on it?
I can't
Like,
even tell you. Like it's all a
or
blur.
at one setting?
I go. Like yeah, I don't even time myself. Some people do like to time themselves when they do art, but no, I just prefer to get lost in it. So I couldn't possibly tell you. It's like being in here. You put on this headset and then you realize, oh, it's 5 hours later. You know?
Yeah. Yep. Huh.
It's funny you mentioned that because time in the
Sorry.
metaverse really does move really fast. And when I was talking about earlier, having that like addiction to being in VR, being in edit mode, trying to get this world done. I would blink and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like, what the hell happened? I was going to be in
Yeah.
here for 20 minutes. I just wanted to finish this one thing. And so when I'm looking at the clock, I think that's why they put the this big tablet on your wrist and it has the time now, because before you didn't have a clock anywhere in here. And when you thought you were going to be in here for 20 minutes, I know there was times when I would tell my wife, yeah, I'm just going to spend 10 more minutes and wrap something up. And I don't know, I probably spent 20, 30 minutes wrapping it up, but I still, finished what I needed to do in here, got out of the headset, and then, did the family thing and spend time out of the headset. So really try to be conscious of the time you're spending in edit mode, time you're spending, in here, even if it's hanging out with people. I know some people kind of contributed to escapism and getting away from the real world, but I don't see it that way when you're connecting with people and you're hanging out in spaces where it's actually interacting with others. Perfect example, like Lolly was talking about in Soapstone, like meeting people, genuine conversation. It's not escaping the real world and playing a game where, you're playing a character and trying to, go explore. This is a social app where you're meeting people, you're in real relationships and conversations and connections. So it's a little easier to fall into that where you're building and you're just losing track of time. Have there been times where you're just like looking at the clock and you're like, oh my god, I gotta get it ready and go to work, or you're late for work, or something in
Yeah,
your
of
personal life just
course.
completely missed?
Shoot. I do feel like I'm spending a lot of time in here, but you know, I'm I'm not spending time, I'm investing it. And so are all of you
Hmm.
investing your time. And because it's something that I believe in, something you believe in, and we both want to see it happen. So I think that can, be a good excuse for spending a lot of time in here.
Yeah,
You
it
just
still can be a good
yeah.
balance if you spend a lot of time in here. I do agree with that. And when people ask me, they're like, how come you don't go to a VR chat? How come you go to Altspace? I went to Altspace a couple of times for strictly like research purposes. I know that sounds funny, but I went in there first time just to kind of check it out. I hated the avatar. I didn't like the community experience. I went to a couple of events and it just wasn't the same. Like I walk up to people and say hello, and it's like my bot here. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, I exist. Do you have a name? Do hey, what are you doing? It's like really awkward because they just show you no attention. There's no connection there. So it was just a different experience for me, and maybe others have a better experience. But um, when I went there the most recent time, it was at that Ryu hotel, and I was talking about it in I guess one of these pre shows, just testing out the world. People were talking about how the textures and the animations and all the functionality in Altspace, that Ryu Hotel video, the promo video, it's gorgeous. It is just gorgeous. And I had to go in there and check it out myself because I, for one, I know how video editing works. I mean, you do art, you know how editing works. So you've seen it yourself, you've done it yourself to your own pictures. So I was like, I know that there's something about this video that's just not as it seems. And if you've been to world tours, if you've been to the Video Essentials bundle, there's a skybox there. And that skybox is basically transparent text surrounding the world, and it changes colors based on the time of day. So this would go from night to day, day to afternoon, afternoon to twilight hours, and then, back to midnight. And so it cycles through, but it's just a text box around the world that you can't see. In Altspace, it's textures. It's
Hmm.
literally a panoramic picture of the city, but the video that's kind of droning into the hotel, it doesn't look like it's blurry because it's meant to just look like the background. But when you go there, it's just a blurry picture, like it's a really low definition picture surrounding the world. But then when you get into the lobby and there's this concierge there, and I'm like, wow, this is an animated person in front of me. This is really cool. And then there's a bell where you select language, Spanish or English, and then you can switch between all of the different things that you want to learn about. But it's just a cardboard cutout of a person that's basically talking to you, a recorded message. And when you just shift just slightly, so like if I'm looking dead on, and if I just shift just to the right of them, you can see the jagged edges around this cardboard cutout, and there's no back to it. And I'm like, okay, so we've got the ability to put video in the world. It's the ability to cut out just that image. and then we've got a picture that surrounds the world. So Horizon's actually not that far away from AltSpace when it comes to the capabilities that they have. If we just had a way to be able to click on links to get to websites for like
Yeah.
Patreon for supporting creators, if we had the ability to put a screen up there to be able to play a video on loop and just to be able to have textures and images, that's not too far away. I mean, could you imagine in the next 5 years or even in the next year not having at least textures and images? I mean, what would you be able to do with that just having textures in here?
If I could have like actual images in here, that would be a whole new level because that way I could just have comics in Horizon. Like I wouldn't have to solely rely on, posting it to Facebook because maybe not everybody here uses their Facebook. They just have it because they wanted the Oculus. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if I could have it in here, if you could actually pick it up and read it and flip through it, I feel like that would only richen the experience of one shot comics.
I didn't even think about that. I'm thinking about just having a museum or posters, having an actual comic book to flip through, just hitting a button and
Yeah.
it flipping and
Or
having new
even
images.
just show up
That's
on a
actually a really
menu,
great idea.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we actually did
So,
try making a book.
well, I
We
saw
did it.
that, and I was actually going to mention the book that you never added me as a collaborator because I guess you just didn't finish it. But I was really interested in that tablet, but at the
Yeah, the
same time, I would
tablet.
never use it because I really don't want to program like I don't like when I first had this card over here. It wasn't a kick script, and then it was going to have like messages on here and like, all right, topics to talk about. But I don't like the ask question, get answer, ask question, get answer, and it's just so dry. So it turned
Hmm.
into a kick script, which would put people into a box that behind this set is Lakes '05 basically screaming and singing over and over again with the roaring waterfall. So that was the kick script for people who were disruptive. But I figured since we have tools to kick people from worlds now, I would bring people on stage with it. So it's kind of funny how that's evolved. Have you had people disruptive on set, like when, or do you use closed sessions for your shots or your
Yeah. We always use closed sessions. Because people will pop in, especially if they see, there's other people there. It's only natural. So if you're working, if you're doing some serious meetings type stuff, definitely close close party.
Now, is that because something happened or because it was like, let's prevent it from happening?
I actually was in a podcast the other night, uh, and this dude popped in and just came right in the middle of the podcast and like grabbed the mic and started talking. Um, so yeah, we had to switch over to a closed session.
That's funny. Because when we first got pull to remove, I was thinking to myself, like, this is never going to be like a sufficient tool. Like, I got to rely on if I'm on one side of the world and somebody's just being downright disgusting, and the rest of the world's like, oh, we're removing somebody, but I don't know why, so I'm going to say no. Have you had to deal with that in any of the worlds that you've been in where you just have people that are just being downright disruptive and you can't remove them because people aren't just in that area, or have you just not had issues with that because you're always in edit mode?
Yeah, because I'm always in edit mode. I really don't get out much to even be in like social situations. Um, and plus, I keep a really small circle. Some people might have 800 people on their friends list. I'd rather have like nine.
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 And that's kind of funny because I imagine that people your incoming requests have to be like a significant amount of people queued up, or you just go through and cancel them all because you just want to keep your circle small.
No, I add everybody. Like I try to be
Oh,
more open now. Yeah, I try to be more open and meeting new people.
so no surprise, I literally accept everyone who sends me a request because I really do try to have people just join my sessions. I would much rather people just jump in, join the session, and then if they have questions, if they just want to hang out, if they want to just world hop, because I'm always checking out new worlds for world tours. I always encourage people to just, if they see me online, join my session. But it's kind of funny because every now and again somebody will pop in and they're literally like not even done loading in. Like you see the sparkles drop down, they're still invisible, and they're like, Oculos, I need help. This script isn't working. And I'm like, you could not be further from the right person. If I could ever find another person in Horizon, I am not the script fixer guy. There is no script fixing out of me. Um, but speaking of small circle and adding people, it looks like we have somebody out in the audience we might be able to bring to the stage. I think we're gonna go ahead and pop them on. Zach the artist, come on
I was
on,
like, dude,
come on
There
you
he
caught me
stage.
goes.
off
Here,
guard with
take my
that
seat.
with
Take my seat.
teleportation. I was like, whoa.
It's great
Hey,
because I used to be a kick script, which I think you just joined when I was talking about it. And it makes it easier because if I'm like, yeah, walk over to the side and walk through. And then when you get in the back, walk forward. It just takes so long and it's so awkward. But now it's like, gotcha, get on stage. So,
oh no,
Zach, welcome.
that was awesome. Hey, thanks for having me out. Honestly,
Yeah,
that's
it's great to have both of you on stage now because Sado has been telling us amazing things about his comics, about the one shot cast and crew group. I know that you've missed quite a bit, so I don't want you to feel like you're repeating anything. But please tell me about your perspective and your side of the story of meeting Sado and how one shot came to be.
honestly, it was the most like meant to be thing I've ever experienced. I mean, I've worked in a lot of different industries, and when I got into here, I mean, it was less than a month with us both being on the like the community page before like I reached out, and I was like, dude, like I don't know if like you're feeling the same thing that I'm feeling, but I mean, I was like, there's nobody out here that has this type of view where like we want to put out like what we do in the platform into comics. I was like, we have to link up. And like, I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know if he, I'm assuming you already talked about like the first one that we had, right?
Night Crew, yeah.
Yeah. And so
Love
like
it.
after that one, it was like, I mean, how smooth that went from like how we both had the same point of view to like, I mean, everything since is just, it's been such like a surreal experience that, I mean, we both been able to do like everything that I can't, he can, everything that he can't, I can. And
Yeah.
so it's like, I
Yeah.
mean, it
That's
really
exactly what
showed
it's
that
like.
like it really showed that like collaboration is way better than competition. And if you can collaborate with somebody before you try to compete with them, do it. Because I mean, you'll really see how far you can get. And it's been something that I mean, we both were like we both are hesitant with like if with like everything we do with like collaborating with people. And it's like for us to be able to like do this together the whole time and it to like it get to where it is just I mean the perfect example, you know.
That's awesome.
It's
I love what you just said. Collaboration is better than competition. I have never heard
Yeah.
that, but I am using that literally from now on because I can't stop talking about not only community, but about collaboration and how it just adds a whole nother perspective and view and creativity to your world. But collaboration is better than competition. Like that right there just
That's a
sums it up
one shot
perfectly.
trademark. That's a one shot trademark. Can't use it.
Not buying it. I'm not buying it. You heard it here first. I stole it. I mean, original.
it was on your stage, so
S-
it's okay.
yeah, no, it's cool. I at least I told you I'm going to steal it. Um,
Yeah, no,
now let's talk
it's okay.
about that collaboration over competition. So, have you had experiences where it hasn't been that way? It's been people are afraid to collaborate because they're competing or they're doing something similar and they're maybe intimidated. Like,
I
where
mean,
did that come from?
yeah, I feel like it wouldn't be more of like yeah, it would be more of like the intimidation side of like I mean, I feel like the only time where I've seen that I guess it goes bad in our heads is like we're sitting there kind of just thinking that either one person will try to outshine the other or like someone will like end up like stealing the other design from the other. I mean, we didn't have that thought. I'm just thinking of like many different times where I've had either people like ask me like, "Hey man, like I'm hesitant on like I mean, exactly what I'm saying, hesitant on either world collaborating or even like having somebody come in on edit mode like what do you think about that?" And like, I mean, at the end of the day, I always say if it's somebody you trust, I mean, it's always first. Like it's if it's somebody you don't trust, I mean, that's something that is obviously out of the ballpark. But I mean, if it's somebody you trust and you can give the benefit of the doubt that I mean, what they're gonna say is what they're gonna do. I mean, it's definitely something that if you have had like past experiences where like it's gone wrong. Like you can't use those past experiences to judge the characteristic traits of who you're going to be working with currently. Because I mean, if they haven't done anything wrong, it's like there's no reason you could even think of like what's happened in the past to compare it to what's going on in the present. And it's like more of like a mindfulness lifestyle as well. I mean, it's more of, but that's a whole different story.
No, that's awesome advice for people, because not only do people uh, worry about who they're collaborating with, and if somebody's going to be an editor on your world, they can literally import your entire
Oh
world.
yeah,
And now with asset
that's the
creation,
scary
they
part.
can literally just capture your whole. I mean, this cup is amazing. If I made you an editor, you could make this your asset, and that just is so scary. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
couldn't
no, that
imagine this
really
cup
is.
being anywhere else.
100%.
But in all seriousness, like when you collaborate with people, do you have this conversation up front? Like, if you're going to work with me, you can't steal my assets. If you build something, I get it, it's yours, but this world is
Yeah,
meant for this purpose. Like, how's that conversation go?
110%. Um, yeah, I mean, I mean, he's one of the few people I've collaborated with, like actually as like a commission project, or like anything that I'm
Mhm.
actually is going to be like public or anything like that. I mean, for the most part, if I've collaborated, it was like when I first started. I started this thing on Facebook called Metaverse Help, and like if anybody reached out, like I would just help them in any single sort of way, or they could come collaborate with me in any single sort of way. And
Mhm.
like, I mean, I didn't really think about it too much because I mean, I was in build mode more than I was going around, and I didn't see that like people were selling stuff that like I was like being nice to and letting them like see or be a part of, and they'd go end up making money off it. And just because I mean I didn't sell it, I mean it was anyways. It's like the way I think of it is like I don't really care if they do that in my perspective, and it's like I mean I've definitely like thought about it, and I don't. I mean I make sure it doesn't happen anymore. But I mean if somebody does that's done that in the past to me, I'm not gonna go chase them around because I mean it's if anything like if the way I look at it, if they really went out of the way to like make money, I mean, if it's somebody that I'd know, I mean, I'll ask them, like maybe what's going on. But I mean, I've really, at the end of the day, I don't, because if they needed that money, I mean, if they needed it, I mean, obviously they needed it more than I did. And I mean, you have a weird perspective of it. And I even told them of like, that's what even, for example, like our one shot flyer posters, like, I mean, I've seen a few people present to us that like there's people selling them and we give them out to people for free. And I definitely thought about like how we're a trademark company and like I could go and talk to them about like this, and that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, is it really worth going out of my time to like start like interaction with somebody? And I mean, it's not really worth it in my perspective to get the emotions driven up when there's more things that could be going on that I could better my time to, I guess. But I definitely don't collaborate with people that much because of that reason.
Yeah. I will say,
No,
I'll say that trust took time. Like
Yes,
we didn't just
there you
come
go.
out of it like the
Yes,
perfect
yes.
duo. It actually took time to build it. You know.
Yes, 110%. Actually, like the Hall of Fame or the One Shot Comics HQ was like the first one, and then the Hall of Fame was like the second. Like we're still that way with with what we do because
Yeah, with
I mean
building. Yeah.
yeah, because you mentioned before like that little thing of like I mean everybody thinks of it that's a creator of like okay I have to make sure that nobody takes this or like first time of everything. I mean if you have that idea that is like okay I haven't seen this done yet, I definitely make sure I don't tell anybody about it. But I mean
mhm.
i- if it's something little, I mean I won't go chase somebody around for it, you know.
So, collaboration aside, you've been working on your own art up until y'all got together. And, at this point now, I have an art piece from both of you. You created art when you were doing those portraits for people in
Oh
the
yeah,
soapstone, and,
oh yeah,
Sado
snapshots.
now, the Horizon Heroes. Tell me about the snapshots that where did that start? Like, what gave you the idea to do it?
So, I mean, snapshots. I mean, I've done like so. I started designs back in 2009, and it's kind of where the thought of the idea was, because I mean I would do either like profile pictures or I would do like little logos that would be on this little like little thumbnails. I mean that'd be on like YouTube videos, or I mean long story short, once I got into the app or the platform and started like working in it, and basically whenever I left I would still be drawing characters and doing my own little thing. You actually were one of them that I don't even know where the idea really came from. I was kind of just sitting there one day and ended up just making us like I was drawing yours and unemployed alcoholics first, and then like sent it over to you guys, and I'm like, just from like boredom, I'm like, you know what, I mean I at first I was doing it to like show my girlfriend like what the avatars looked like, because we weren't near my headset, and then I realized like it looked like I was literally just holding my phone out and trying to draw it out to show her, and it just how similar I was still able to do it after like such a long time. I was like, dude, okay, I have to
Right.
get back into this. And so like, I mean, it's like the inspiration that I got from all of my people that motivated me to do it, and then all of you guys like loving it so much. I mean, I did about 60 of them. The first like 60 I did all for free and just for the love. And I mean, it was something that, I mean, even Aaron was saying, he's like, how long do these take you? And there's some of them that took me like upwards of 2-3 hours. And I mean, I would just,
Jeez.
I don't, she's like, why aren't you charging? I'm like, I mean, the way I look at it is, I mean, I don't like, I mean, this is definitely a quote I've heard is, you don't need a reason to like do something that makes people happy other than it's just the right thing to do. I mean, you know.
I literally couldn't agree more. The entirety that I've been in here, people are asking me like, "You've been doing tours, you've been doing community building, you're supporting people, you're shouting people out, and you're constantly on social media promoting other people. Like, why? Why are you doing it? Like, when are you gonna like start getting money from it? When are you gonna sell this? Or over the time that I've been doing world tours, I mean, I can't tell you how many people have approached me to want to put their sponsorship in the world to monetize it or buy it from me just to take it over. And I'm just like, no matter what, tours is always going to be a free community thing. Like, I want people to be able to find resources if they want help building and
Oh yeah.
scripting. I want them to find communities if they are looking for something specific, or if they just want to network with people. A couple of weeks ago, I had somebody in here, or not here, but in tours, that they were worried about publishing their world. Like, they didn't think it was ready, they didn't think it was good enough. And the people in that group, before we went on our tour, they were just like, no, just post it, just get it out there. Like, just get it, just post it, and let people play it, and get some feedback. Don't worry about it, just post it as it is. It's probably ready. And so she did. She posted her world, and the next day, I had 3 people reach out to me, 2 of which were from Meta. One person who was just trying to connect with her about finding out who she was because they loved her world, and she did the exact thing that we told her: post it in the community group, post it in Discord, share it on your Facebook page, get it out there, tag Horizon Worlds, and people will find it. And if they enjoy it, they'll go, and if they like it, they'll like it, share it. And that's what it's about. And because she did all of those things, it was the next day people were trying to find her because of that world. And it's really like, I'm so humbled and grateful that people are having these experiences within these like groups that I'm like facilitating for tours, and giving these people the opportunity to network and create, and then the full circle of putting their door in world tours, because now they've created this amazing place for people to hang out.
Oh yeah.
So as far as like the art that you're putting out there, the both of you, like the feedback that you're getting in here, I asked Sado about this earlier. Have you gotten the same support when you joined Horizon for your art that you did prior to, like in the outside world and Facebook groups?
So I mean, I've actually done this, the art side of it and the video editing. I have done for different companies, but I mean, the community wise, and social media wise, I will say once I got into Horizon Worlds is when it exploded. I mean, I have like an old YouTube from 2009, and like a few old Instagram pages, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the community building that I've had. I mean, for example, like I made the post on in the Facebook page, and then like on my own personal page that I started at Upstart 13, which is like
Yep.
I mean, it's basically solidifies me being like a Horizon Worlds full-time creator. And I mean, I had more people from the community within here like my. I mean, I had like 60 likes, and I think only like 12 of them were people that I actually know in real life.
Yeah, I was talking about
I'm not gonna lie.
how you if you start a business, it's easier to have a client become your friend than your friend to become a client, because it's so
True.
true. Like fighting to get that support in the real world, and it's like, you're my friend, just support me, share my page, like my page. That's the minimum. Like the bare minimum is like, just push the button on your mouse, and that's all I need from you. And in here
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, hey man, I just saw your artwork. Oh, I've been to your world. I'm messaging you. Let's connect. Let's talk. I really enjoyed it, and it's like going beyond what I've ever seen. I don't know if it was
Hmm.
Aaron or maybe I've heard it from multiple creators, but everything you do in here is like amplified of what you've done in the real world. Would you say that's
Oh yeah.
accurate, or can you give any
Oh,
examples
one.
of some of the things that didn't work in the real world and in here it's like exploding?
So so actually, I mean, going back to that exact same thing. So it's actually on freedombirdrevolution.com and on Zach the Artist like that is my Instagram, Zach the Artist VR. If you go like to the very bottom, I used to make tapestries, and like that's where I thought this was
Oh,
gonna blow up, because like I used to like travel around to music festivals because a lot of my friends were DJs, and I thought that was gonna make me blow up, because like when I how many I would sell like at music festivals. But once I got back, it was like there was nothing. Like all my friends were like, yeah, those are cool, but I mean, yeah, I mean, those are cool. And then like I mean I
that's it.
and then like I got in here, and that's actually how I originally got to creating different stuff and being able to, I guess, have a different perspective on it. Was the kind of the first few art pieces I made were similarities from like the tapestries I sold, and those were like how I made like some of my best friends were going around and just having the like either, I guess, like not nervousness to be like, hey man, like how do you think I should make this? Because I mean I would literally like send them a picture, and I'd be like, because I mean I've been in here. I mean, anyways, I would go around to either like worlds that have been out for a while, or people that are creators in the same type of like perspective or like abstract art that they'd have, and I would just be like, what do you like suggest? Like, how do you suggest starting? And then I think I was only in it for like 2 weeks, where I was actually going around, and I was in build mode for about 6 or 7, just kind of trying to like perfect every little detail. And if I wasn't in build mode, I was in the soapstone.
Yeah, the soapstone. So, how did you get into that? Because I wasn't. I guess it was like when you connected with Aaron and got into the soapstone. I was kind of wondering like where that was gonna like work together, and then you started doing like events and stuff there, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So I actually it was actually one of the like first worlds when he first had it as Gutties, like way back when, is when I first started going into it. And I mean the like atmosphere of like them trying to connect like everybody with him to either be a host or anyways, it was to be able to like help out in any way. And it was something that like I had a like the utmost respect for it, but something I was like 110% down for. Like the second I read that they were looking for people, so I mean, I ended up
Hmm.
joining in, and then I mean, that it was really just me helping out or doing anything I can in any way. And then it went to the UA Comedy Club, and then it went to the Soapstone, and it's been something that's it been a transition that I've never even thought was possible to see in like my lifetime in such a short time, because like it's been, I don't know, it's been awesome. And honestly, like now we have events like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's like we all come together, and it's we like I mean we just all care, and it's something that is really important here, is getting a community that cares. I mean, it's inevitable that because of like how many people are in the platform, that I mean just like the real world, that I mean you'll always
Hmm.
sometimes catch a wrong group, but I mean there's usually always like 5 to 6, if not more, sessions going on at once. So it's like I don't know, it's like my second home away from build mode, because since I've been in here full time, like I really don't conversate with anybody other than like you guys or I mean, it's I don't know. That's the downfall of it, but I mean, I definitely found some silver lining in it. Is this
No, that's
community?
great. The community, I can't stress enough how amazing it is and supportive it is. If there's something you're interested in, if there's something that you want to build, like if you just talk about it and say I want to build something and you post it in the Discord or community group, you'll find people that are like, oh yeah, I want to build that too, I'd love to get together with you, let's connect. I know people are worried about if they say their idea somebody's going to steal it, but I mean at some point if you're not going to just go and build the entire thing by yourself, or you have a team that you're going to go and build something, you really do have to kind of rely on just putting it out there. Hey, I really want to build with somebody. I started this world and maybe I need a scripter, or I just really can't get the details down, but I at least have kind of the base mechanic of what I want this world to be. And I really hope that the people that just are here to scam and take advantage of people get bored and go elsewhere, and that
Yeah,
this community stays growing and helping and collaborating. So as
100%.
far as with the both of you, your future of One Shot, obviously more comics, more amazing work. You talked a little bit about potentially movies. What are your thoughts for the future of One Shot and where you want to take it with Sado, and maybe open it up to the world, or maybe just keep it to yourselves? Like, what's the thought process for your side of it?
So honestly, the future is like the possibilities are infinite, to be honest. And like we honestly come up with different ideas like every other day that we send each other. And like we honestly had we could have made a 3-page list of what we could have talked about today. And like what we really want to make sure we talked about was like what we plan on like legitimately coming out within the next, let's say, either a year or so. And I mean, I will say that like confidently, like we will be having a Patreon that will be, I mean, having the people that you when you invest in the Patreon, you're able to see like exclusive comics that will differ from the ones that we have publicly, because we'll always be making
Nice.
public ones, but the ones in the public ones are going to be in the worlds we get inspired by, and we're like from little experiences that kind of even we don't even know might even happen. We just world travel and we're like, dude, this is awesome, and we find somebody in there and be like, hey, which is what he's done recently and what we plan on doing still. But the ones that are going to be in the Patreon are like the worlds are going to be made by us, the stories are going to be made by us. The photo shoots are going to be like the most professional setup we can make it. They're going to have like the long stories in it. And I mean, we're going to be making, having like videos of us editing it. We're going to having like the videos from the photo shoot. Like everything's going to be in the Patreon. But I mean, the future of it, what we want to do, we were talking about, is basically like, I mean, we want to help any person that's out there that is inspired with comics to like be able to post under the One Shot Comics page. Like we want to be, I mean, the future of what we want to do with our company is to be able to make the comic industry within this platform like shareable and like accessible for anybody to be able to like join in on. I mean, that's why we had the One Shot Comics cast and crew. Is like, I mean, like the worlds we build, anything we make, like we and the comics we make, we want to have anybody joining in with us, because I mean, this platform is on such a small scale of what it's going to be, and it's like to be able to be on the top side of the comics within it is basically what we're trying to do, and help anybody that's trying to do them.
Yeah. Or even just,
Well, sure,
literature.
Sado.
Because you remember when we tried to make that book, or we thought
Oh yeah,
about the idea for the book? Yeah. We wanted a way to, provide a way for people to, tell their own stories in Horizon.
yes,
So that way, if someone had a story, maybe they're a writer, they could put it in the tablet and people could actually come in here and read it.
what do
I
you say?
love the idea of making the comic book or the story that you can flip through, because we've had like very simple animations for like the birthday worlds early on, had a card that would open up and play music and had everybody's signatures. We've had storybooks that would open up and it was just one page. But the idea of having images and an actual comic book or some kind of a graphic novel Like those kind of things, I'm sure they're coming soon. Like the capability is pretty much there. You just got to be able to get the images in. And so without
Hmm.
the capacity, it's kind of limiting. But I can't wait to see what you come up with next in this space within the next year. I don't know if you're aware, but the last 6 months, Horizon's released more features and code blocks than they have
Oh
the
yeah.
entire time this product's been open. And
Oh yeah.
so
It's
just that
exciting.
amount of progress that we've had, it, like you say, it's exciting. So I'm imagining the next 6 months is going to be similar. I do want to give you all a chance to shout out, your pages and where they can find you and all those other things. But I do have one more question. So as far as art, do you feel that Horizon is really growing its art community, or are there any art communities that you're aware of that you follow, or do you think that it's these social spaces that are just always going to be the highlight? Like, what's your thoughts on that? I'm gonna start with Sado first.
I think everybody is focusing on building right now, and not really so focused on the actual aspect of art, because and I get it. They're trying to build this app up, so they encourage building. But there's so much more that can come out of Horizon Worlds, and I feel like eventually they'll come to, let's see what other people are doing. Let's see what else you can do, and that's when I think they'll really find us.
My bad. How's
Yeah,
the
because I
controller
loved
doing?
Art Wars being a guest judge, because being able to bring out these four art pieces from two amazing artists, I didn't know what to expect when I was there. And these art pieces were probably the height of the curtains, and about maybe the width of the couch almost. And those four art pieces were just breathtaking. Like the amount of detail and the creativity. Chirac really
Hmm.
put a ton of creativity into everything that he built, from adding on the Jordans to the backpack to just the story behind every one of his characters in a 3D model. And then Breezy had all of these portraits that were just spot on, the detail and the shading and the colors. Everything was so vibrant and perfect. And these two opposite art styles were just so breathtaking that just seeing that in this space just gives me a little bit of I guess hope that there's going to be more art that's going to be featured and showcased. Better World Museum loves to showcase art, support
Yes,
artists,
that's
and
what I was
Angel
about to
the
say
Artist
too.
was like the most amazing, like when that launched, all those art pieces were sold. Like she actually sold those art pieces to people, commissioned work. I'm really excited about that. I see Will's up here, but I did want to ask you now, Zach, about art in Horizon Worlds. Do you think that people are going to continue to grow in the art space, or it's going to be just more focus on these hangouts?
I will say that it's my biggest passion here is art. I mean, I have like my like architecture, like I have my with my company, like I like or one shot comics. Like I love world building, but I mean that's something I've been doing outside of it in like Unity or Blender for quite some time. And it's like when I got into here, the 3D modeling aspect, or even breaking down a 3D modeling at like 3D model into a 2D character, or I mean, for or my, in my like the Zach's gallery, my like kinetic sculptures, like the future of art in here is I what I think is going to bring the majority of people in here. I mean, just having the like a euphoric like aesthetic view of seeing something is like I mean it can boost some like people's serotonin. It can boost like many things in a person's body to make them feel good, and it's like I feel like that's it's gonna be the equality is gonna be the hangouts and the art within one is what's gonna be the where is where people are gonna be hanging out, to be honest. Because I mean we all come in here to I mean yes the realism is awesome, but it's also like I come into the app to get away from the real world, so it's like to be able to combine it all into one has been my favorite part of it, and it's like it's been something that I mean I love how you call out the Butterworld Museum because I will say that that's I mean I've had the utmost respect for Paige and everything she's done. I love the like France and the Angel the Artist worlds. That's actually like why I did like reach out to Angel the Artist or to Paige my bad and ask her to if the submission is still open and so that's actually one of my current projects is to see what I can make out of a Better World Museum submission, because that's something
Nice.
I've had the utmost respect for in here. The and everything they do, what she does in the extended reality and like the real world is, I mean, it's breathtaking to see what she does in here to what she does outside of it. And so it's like being an artist, like my whole life has been something I've wanted to do professionally my whole life, but it's always been something I've kept, I guess, kind of to myself, because I've lived a professional, like business ethic type of lifestyle up until like I was able to get into here, and still up until recently, I was actually able to show people my real world contract that people didn't believe in what I was doing, because they didn't. I mean, they weren't able to see it other than like in a picture or video, and it's nothing you can experience until you're in here. And I will say the future for the art is not even at a 10% of what it's going to be.
I
Very
have a
cool.
question
Very cool.
off
And
of that.
y- go ahead,
I
Will.
mean,
What's your question?
so you're saying like everyone's building and not really doing much of the art, outside of Horizon, stuff like that. But I was gonna mention like Better World Museum, how there's a lot of art within that, and then there's a lot of creators who make worlds, you know, with their own art, a style of creating, designing, and stuff like that. So like there's a lot of art within inside Horizon.
Oh yeah.
Um I was seeing what your opinions about those were, and if you had anything to say to those type of artists within Horizon to bring that art out of Horizon into like the reality and do something more to expand it, that art.
I just
Um.
don't think they're getting like the attention.
Yeah.
Like I think the attention right now is on builders, but there I have
Mm-hmm.
seen some pretty mind blowing things. And like, who's the guy that made the Charizard card? Do you guys? Who made like the
I
Um.
Charizard
don't.
Pokemon card?
Uh.
Crap!
I know who that
It
is.
was it was so real. It looked like
Yeah.
an actual
He made.
Charizard
Yeah.
card.
Had that the other Pokemon card too, or the other
Oh, you're
Pokemon
looking
character
for it?
too. Yeah.
But yeah, sooner or later, like the artist, we're art is gonna make the metaverse, so it's gonna be
Oh,
like so
facts.
crucial. I mean, this is art.
100%. I
Building
think
is
so.
art. These avatars
Yes.
are art. Like it's all yeah.
Eh, What do you
Yeah,
You
say?
guys are just
I don't know
scrolling.
who that
Come back.
creator
Come
is,
back.
and I saw it on Instagram, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a great place to share your art from Horizon, because I'm seeing all of these amazing creators that are sharing in Instagram, and their posts are exploding, like all of the reactions and all of the comments.
Yeah,
I mean, and
that's where I've
that's
gotten
on.
my most likes was is in this Zach Space Gallery is like that's where I have it's Metaglobes. It's like
Those
right now
globes
those
are
are all big,
crazy.
but when people purchase them, they're like the size of your hand, and like I mean I can put absolutely anything inside of them. But I mean right now my main focus is like kinetic sculptures, which is like I mean if no one knows what kinetic sculpture is like just it's oscillating art around each other, and when you look at it, and I mean you'll be able to see when you're in there, but that's my main thing in here is art. It's something that I mean I'll sometimes spend upwards of 12 hours, no exaggeration, 12 hours in at a time and one build, just to make sure it's one perfect art piece. I mean that's what's going to be coming out. I mean the 3000 object is way under what I want it to be, but I can't wait
Mhm.
till they extend that, because I mean the possibilities will be definitely then become infinite.
Yeah, the asset spawning ability that you can do with the
Oh
assets
yeah,
and the new code blocks is definitely helpful. But
true.
the ability to just have more capacity, more objects, more geometric complexity from the beginning does give
Hmm.
you a little bit more to work with. But to be honest, when we had the capacity of 20 max players jump to 32 players, and then an adjustment somewhere around like the January timeframe when we lost support for Quest 1, that additional geometric complexity was helpful. but we're still running out. I mean, there's no ways around it that this headset is the reason why we're at where we're at now. They've been trying to make the world's more um, easier to load with the new Visit
Oh, yeah.
2.0. If you saw that last week, so
Mm-hmm.
they're optimizing everything, like from the avatars down to how the
Oh, yeah.
worlds load. I'm just waiting for when they announce the next headset because I'm just gonna buy that. I'm gonna jump into Horizon. I hope they don't discontinue the Quest 2 anytime soon,
Well,
but I
I
really
don't
do
think they
hope that
will.
they.
I think it'll
Yeah, it's
always be
there's too
like
many out there.
it, like I mean I think it'll be like the iPhone. How like there's the for like there's the iPhone XS and then there's like the iPhone like Plus because it's different accessibilities with the I mean from at least what I've read or friend they said like all the Quest Pro is it's gonna be more like augmented reality based and like the like resolution is gonna be more to be based on like hand like all hand tracking and like it's gonna be more based on apps that you can connect without having to really like focus on the controllers or anything like that. So I mean, I haven't heard. Did you hear that when that comes out, they will make that accessible for um like Horizon Worlds? Or I mean, I'm from my thoughts, I think this will be what we'll have to use Horizon Worlds on, and that will be for like workrooms and like the hand tracking apps. Because
Yeah,
like I mean,
Workrooms
that's
is
just my
interesting because
yeah.
when Workrooms came out, immediately had hand tracking. Bring your desk in, bring your keyboard in, be able to bring your computer in, be able to put images in the world. So all these capabilities exist in all of these different apps between Venues, Horizon Worlds, and Workrooms. And so, like when that first launched Workrooms, I said, that's going to be the evolution. If it's going to catch
Oh,
up to where Facebook
100%.
Connect, where you have to have your home space where everybody meets up and then you virtually go places, it has to be something that brings venues and workrooms in. So
Oh
venues is
yeah.
here. So it's just a matter of time before you get workrooms. And these
Yes.
headsets already manage the hand tracking. These headsets already manage images and video. So it's just the capability is right around the corner. And that's really all we need is just to get in the door of that
True.
capability. And then all these worlds are just going to drastically change. But even
Oh
if
yeah.
they don't discontinue the Quest 2, that new headset, no matter how capable it is, there has to be a balance of what they're going to be able to do with the existing hardware to not
Mm-hmm.
completely alienate how many millions of customers that they sold to. And that's the struggle. Like you said, the iPhone, it's planned obsolescence like everything else. You get a 1 year warranty on a piece of electronic because it's supposed to last you a year and you buy a new one. So as far
Mm-hmm.
as the Quest, I can't
I
see
hate how
them
they do that.
replacing a million headsets the first couple of years. It's going to be a slow progression of spending the extra money, $500 to $1,000 for a capable VR headset. But I mean, would you spend $1,000 just so you could play Horizon Worlds and be able to get a video screen? Me, yeah. Maybe not
Yeah.
everybody else. Anybody out there
100.
willing to spend $1,000 for more capability and capacity? Maybe a few of you. Yeah, I
Definitely.
see some head nods, some confetti. So we're all addicted. I think the job's
But
well
don't say
done.
that. Don't say, edit that part out. Don't let them know.
Yeah, I know, right? We only want to spend 300. That's all.
Yeah, only 300. Only
Yeah, that's my max.
250.
I got bills to pay. So it's about 1 a.m. on the East Coast. I appreciate everybody sticking it out until 1 a.m. It's been a 3 hour show, and I'm grateful to have both of you on here. I'd love to have y'all shout out whatever you want to shout. Whoever wants to go first, rock paper scissors. I hope neither one of you choose scissors because that's a little difficult with these hands. But feel free to
Wait,
shout out
you
where they
go
can
ahead.
find you.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Who do I want to shout out?
Yeah, shout out where they can find you, where you're at, and anything you want to share with them. Final shout outs and
Yeah, definitely.
plugs.
If you're open to talk, I'm open to talk too. So if you see me, send me a friend request. I really accept it. Definitely check out the One Shot Hall of Fame, and also visit my home store because like those are my assets, and that's the first time I'm ever really building and sharing stuff with people. Um, and yeah, I guess that's it.
Okay.
So,
All right. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram at ZachTheArtist VR. And then we're our Facebook and Instagram for our One Shot Comics is in Facebook. It's Horizon World Comics. Instagram, it's Horizon Worlds Comics. And then and here, I mean, I'm a little bit of everywhere. I help host. I do host Tuesday trivia at the Soapstone. Thursday nights at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern time. I have a live DJ playing at Exodus Rooftop. And that's my world. And then I mean, for my art pieces or anything that I'm gonna be like selling, I do have like very low like low valued and very cheap, because I mean I try to keep them like inexpensive for everybody. Is in the Metaglobes, is in the Stack Space Gallery, and I actually change those out every few weeks, and gonna completely change the styles out of what is in them for everybody, but as well as the world itself is an art piece. So when you go in there, like really go as like far outside of it and just look at everything. It's something I've never seen other than in that world in here. And then I mean, other than that, it's something just like he said. I'm available anytime. I do have a lot of free assets as well. Like I have a dynamic light controller, or I have a many other things. And so don't hesitate to ask anybody has a question. And I appreciate this man for having us out here, and everybody else that I've met. If I had one person to call out, I would. It's just I have like so many people, so I'll just say I love all of my friends. And if any of you guys seeing this, you guys are why I come on here each and every day.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. I'm grateful to have both of you up here. I'm so glad that you were able to make it to join us. I'm loving everything that One Shot's doing. I can't wait to see more out of both of you. And, like I said, wherever the future takes One Shot Comics. Grateful to the people who stuck it out for the 3 hours and everybody who's been here. And also those out in the Vidyuu Nights channel who are watching. I've seen a lot of comments, so I appreciate those. No questions, so I didn't have to ask any, but for next week, next Sunday, as always, we're here at 10 o'clock Eastern and Pacific. I might end up changing that 1 hour sooner just because 1 a.m. it's kind of tough on a Sunday. But for now, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, every Sunday. Y'all can come back here. Another surprise guest we'll pull from the audience, one to open us up, and then, of course, whoever our main guest is to kind of have a conversation about what's going on in their world. So appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the live stream up. So make sure y'all make sure you subscribe. Vidyuu Nights is on its way to 1,000 subscribers. So please make sure that you make sure you subscribe. I'm Oculus 410. This is Horizon Live. Check us next week. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you to Sado. Thank you to Zach. We are out. Have a good night, y'all. Peace.